Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ruby Tarot. Thank you so much for always following and supporting this channel. The moment you are watching this video is the right time for you to receive this message. On this channel, I always bring you insights into what is about to unfold in your life. When you embrace and believe in positive energies, you are also connecting with a parallel world where your wishes have already come true. Today, through this tarot reading, I will help you find direction in your love life and manifest your heartfelt desires. The theme of today's reading is the person who is about to come closer to you in the near future. Let's discover the message together right now. I have selected 3 cards corresponding to Pile 1, Pile 2, and Pile 3. Listen to your intuition and choose the card that you feel most drawn to, then click on the timestamp in the description box to jump to your chosen reading. Now, let's begin the reading session with those of you who have already made your selection. Hello, Pile 1. Thank you for your patience. Now, I will begin the reading for those of you who chose Pile 1. I hope this reading brings you healing, new awareness, and moments filled with love. The theme of this reading is the person who is about to come closer to you in the near future, someone with whom you will have a powerful connection in the upcoming period. And the very first thing that came through when I focused on this reading was, what is the purpose of this encounter? That question came so strongly, as if the universe wants you to clearly understand why this person is coming into your life. When I laid out the cards, I noticed that all of them appeared in reverse. That has a significant meaning. The first cards that showed up were the reversed Queen of Swords and the reversed Two of Swords. So, I drew more cards to clarify the present context, to understand what messages are being revealed about your current situation. And then, a very clear and vivid feeling emerged, and it was this. This person is coming into your life to stir you, to disrupt your current way of making decisions and perceiving things. But not in a negative way. This is a kind of disruption meant to awaken you. You may have been living according to a certain pattern, maintaining a fixed image of yourself, or believing firmly that this is how I should be, this is how I must live. Perhaps you've been clinging to values you considered important, truths you believed were your personal principles. However, this person will start to make you question all of that. For example, things you once considered important, upon meeting this person, may suddenly lose their meaning. The things you used to pursue, the goals you thought were what you truly wanted, now you start to ask yourself, are these really my deepest desires? Or, have I just been living to please others? This person will make you question your very identity. They are like a mirror, reflecting back the beliefs hidden deep inside you, ones you've never dared to examine. Their presence will trigger a kind of internal shakeup, an awakening that urges you to pause and take a deep, honest look at yourself. And the fascinating thing is, this inner shift will lead you into a temporary state where you're unable to make clear decisions. Everything becomes blurred, confusing. You may feel as though all boundaries between right and wrong, should and shouldn't, seem to dissolve. This is a very specific state that often arises when the soul is preparing to shift to a higher level of awareness. In short, the purpose of this encounter with this person is for you to lose your old certainties and begin a journey back to your true self, not the version others expect you to be, nor the version you constructed to fit into society, but your authentic essence. This person is not just another relationship, they are a catalyst for profound internal transformation. Therefore, the true purpose of this meeting is your awakening. A deep and significant awakening, not a sudden external upheaval or shock, but an awakening that leads you back to your innermost self. This person appears like a gateway, a transition point, allowing you to see that the things you once believed to be right, acceptable, or good may no longer align with who you truly are. The things you once thought were good enough through this person's presence, you begin to realize, no, maybe that's not it. Maybe I've only been accepting it because I never dared to imagine something deeper, something more. From there, you begin to question, to feel unsettled. And that very sense of uncertainty is the clearest sign that you are standing at a major crossroads in your life. This person arrives at exactly that pivotal moment, a turning point where you are about to enter a completely different phase. This encounter is not a coincidence. It is destiny, divinely arranged to awaken the transformation within you. Right now, you are entering a period of profound transformation, and just like countless other souls on the path of evolution, you are merging into a collective wave, a wave of renewal, awakening, and rebirth. As a result, you may feel that your ability to judge or discern has become less sharp, or that you're no longer sure about your own emotions. You might feel confused, lost, uncertain about what to do or which direction to take. That's because the foundations you once relied on are now being shaken. The reading reveals a deep inner tremor within you. It's possible that up until now, you've always tried to control your emotions, never allowing yourself to show weakness or become overly emotional. You may have pushed yourself to stay strong or chosen to suppress your true feelings in order to keep yourself safe. But this person will make it impossible to hide those things any longer. Your emotions will be awakened in an intense and powerful way. Everything you've been suppressing may now begin to pour out unexpectedly. You may find yourself thinking, I can no longer control myself. And that is precisely the turning point. You may feel as though you're no longer the person you used to be, but not in a negative sense. Rather, your old self is dissolving, making room for a deeper, more authentic version of you to emerge. However, upon hearing all this, you might think, if this person comes and stirs me up like that, how can they possibly be a positive influence? And it's true, on the surface, it may seem like this person is throwing your life into chaos, confusion, and instability. But this is exactly what always happens right before a major transformation takes place. Every time you're about to shift, about to step into a new version of yourself, there is always upheaval. The old must be shaken in order for the new to be born. And this person, they're the push that propels you across that threshold. So, although they may leave you feeling disoriented, confused, or even doubtful of yourself, that very disorientation is the beginning of your journey back to your inner truth. A necessary journey, a turning point led by the soul, not by the mind. You may be thinking by now, this person can't possibly be a positive force in my life. Because they make you question everything, they disrupt your direction, they make you doubt yourself. But that's absolutely not the case. In truth, this person appears to help you realize what truly matters to you. They come to help you look within and ask, what do I truly desire? What kind of future do I genuinely want to live in? In other words, this person arrives to awaken you, to help you reconnect with your inner longing and personal truth. And because of that, upon meeting them, you may feel deeply shaken. You may begin to ask yourself, am I on the right path? Am I truly living the life I want? Are the things I once believed were enough actually enough? The reading reveals a clear and powerful message. Your value system, your core beliefs about life, are going to be turned upside down. For instance, if up until now you've been living and working primarily for money, believing that success means making a lot of it, after meeting this person, you might start to think differently. You may begin to tell yourself, I want to do something that makes my heart feel truly fulfilled and joyful. You may start to long for things that bring spiritual richness, the feeling of being truly alive, of living with meaning, rather than solely chasing material values. In other words, this person will shake the foundation of everything you once thought was already fine, already right, already satisfying. In fact, when the two of you first meet, that sensation won't be one-sided. Both of you will feel it. Both of you will be stirred. Both of you will undergo a deep inner shift. This transformation isn't just happening to you, it's also happening to them. The two of you are like giant mirrors, reflecting each other and generating an intense impact on one another. This is further reinforced by the presence of two queen cards in the spread, a symbol that indicates both of you play powerful, transformative roles in each other's lives. And because that influence runs so deep, some of you may already be feeling worried or even fearful as the relationship begins to develop quickly. Even though the theme of this reading is about someone coming closer, about a powerful connection approaching, the depth of change this person brings may cause you to hesitate or want to keep your distance. Not because they're not good for you, but because of the fear of changing too quickly, or the fear that you won't be able to maintain the stability you once had. And sometimes, it's precisely because you find this person incredibly attractive, exactly your type in terms of appearance, that you feel even more unsettled. If it were someone who didn't match your preferences, you could easily step back. But with this person, because the attraction is real, the connection is real, the resonance is real, your emotions become intense, and that intensity can overwhelm you. In short, this person is a transformer, a key figure who helps you step into an entirely new chapter of your life. Not by gently reassuring you, but by shaking the very roots of what you thought was certain, leaving you no choice but to return to your most authentic self. If this is a romantic connection, or if you feel that this person is someone truly remarkable whom you deeply admire, then it seems that you might also be experiencing a sense that you are not allowed to go any further. As if there's a subtle inner warning telling you not to let yourself sink deeper into this bond. Why is that? Because it feels like you have an intuition that if you move forward, your entire worldview will be turned upside down. A sense that your very life could be completely overturned. That is the powerful impression being conveyed through the current energy. And what about the present moment? At present, it appears that you are being significantly influenced by external factors. If you have already met this person, it's very likely that you've already begun to feel their impact. This is highly possible. For example, perhaps you work with them, study alongside them, or they are someone who is frequently around you, whether it's a family member, a friend, or a current partner. In other words, you are living in an environment where you are directly influenced by the people around you. It's as if you are absorbing emotions from others. When those close to you are joyful, you can feel uplifted as well. But if they are irritable or angry, you also find yourself becoming frustrated. You seem to be carrying a highly receptive energy, almost as though you are taking on the emotions of others without fully realizing it. Not only that, but there is also a possibility that you're holding onto an unspoken belief that without these people, you wouldn't be able to survive. Meaning, you may have thoughts such as, it's thanks to these people that I've become who I am today. I owe them too much. And because of that, whenever you think about living your life on your own terms, there's hesitation. You wonder, can I really do well on my own? You fear that if you move away from their support, things might fall apart. At this moment, within your psyche, there may exist a form of dependency, likely an emotional or psychological one. You might be feeling that you are not yet truly independent, not fully free to speak your truth or express your desires. Even when you have something in your heart that longs to be voiced, you still hold yourself back because of the people around you, those you believe are indispensable in your life. All of this is creating a state in which you are simultaneously influenced, restrained, and not yet able to fully detach from your old environment. It leads to a feeling of imbalance, as if you're standing at the edge between the old and the new, between attachment and a yearning for liberation. It seems that you are carrying a belief that without the strength of these people, you wouldn't be capable of doing anything on your own. Perhaps there are individuals around you whom you deeply respect, people you find to be remarkable, impressive, even admirable. And precisely because of that admiration, you find it difficult to fully express your own self. It's as though you are constantly diminishing yourself, criticizing yourself, or believing that you are not good enough. The person you admire may indeed be someone who shines brightly, someone radiant and magnetic, but because of that, there are moments when you feel exhausted being around them. This connection pulls you in with intense attraction, but at the same time, it can leave you feeling depleted. It appears that right now, you are entering a phase where you are trying to remember who you truly are, beginning a journey back to your authentic self. However, it's also likely that you've been suppressing that authentic self for a very long time. And because it's been repressed for so long, now your true essence, the rawest and most genuine part of you, is beginning to rise, longing to emerge into the light. This sensation carries many signs of your inner child, that sensitive and fragile aspect of your inner world often referred to as the inner child. You have spent so much of your attention on others, looked outward for so long, that you've forgotten yourself. You've neglected the child within, you've stopped listening to your own emotions. And because of that, your inner child is feeling lonely, quietly calling out, "Please, see me. Acknowledge my feelings. Even though I may seem small, I carry within me beautiful qualities. I have talents, I have abilities, I have a light of my own. The very fact that I've been able to attract such wonderful people into my life is because I resonate at a similar frequency. I, too, hold radiant qualities, and that's exactly why I drew them into my world. So please, don't compare yourself to others and belittle who you are. Don't diminish yourself just because you admire someone else. Because you, too, have your own light, your own energy, and that light fully deserves to be recognized. Indeed. While this may not apply to every single person, I can feel very clearly that you are being deeply influenced by external energies. This is coming through strongly in your current energetic field. And yet, the true essence within you is yearning to reconnect with itself. You long to honor yourself, to truly learn what it means to love yourself. But at the same time, you're uncertain. What does loving myself actually look like? What does it mean to live according to my own truth, instead of always following others? If I do that, will I become selfish or irresponsible? It's very likely you're caught in a loop of questions like these. In addition, there's a part of you that yearns to release your emotions, to respond in an honest, unfiltered way, just like when you were a child. You want to be able to say what you feel, to express your emotions freely, without hesitation, just like you once could before societal expectations and unspoken rules took over. However, because you're constantly thinking about others, their emotions, their comfort, the balance of the group, and because you're afraid that your feelings might disrupt that harmony, you end up holding it all in. You still hesitate to show your true emotional self. You may be carrying within you a fear that if you become too emotional, if you reveal too much of yourself, you'll become a burden to others, that you'll exhaust them, overwhelm them. And because of these fears, you've been suppressing yourself, holding back things that were meant to be released. The energy coming through feels as though you're constantly bracing yourself, trying to live in harmony, not from a place of authenticity, but from a place of effort and strain. And that is precisely why, at this moment, you are beginning to awaken. But this awakening you are experiencing is not one of mysticism or supernatural power. No, you are awakening to yourself. You are slowly waking up to the truth of who you are. You are beginning to realize, so this is my true self. In other words, you are on a journey of rebirth, transitioning from an old way of living into a new state of being where you can begin to live for yourself, according to your own values, rather than the expectations or standards of others. You are entering a period of change, a transformation from a life shaped by the perceptions and reactions of others, into a life grounded in truth, where you make choices based on what truly matters to you. And because of that, it is very likely that this person, the one you are thinking about, has appeared in your life to help you do exactly that. Perhaps you've already met them, or you're about to, or your connection with them is becoming stronger. But their presence is the catalyst for your transformation. They are the one who marks the moment when you begin a new chapter, a chapter where you place yourself at the center, where you begin to truly care about the voice within you. Next, let's talk about the timing of your encounter with this person. If you've already met them, you may be able to look back and identify some of the signs. We'll also explore who this person is, what circumstances led to your meeting, and other related elements, such as the location, the context of the encounter, and the types of commitments that may arise between the two of you. First of all, regarding the circumstances in which you'll meet this person, it's likely to be around a time when you've just parted ways with someone you were once deeply connected to. You may still be emotionally affected by that previous relationship, feelings that haven't fully resolved. Or you may be in a phase where you're not exactly avoiding love, but you're also not actively seeking it. You might feel something like, right now, I don't need romance. I just want to value this time I have for myself. I want to learn how to truly love myself. It could be a moment when you've made a conscious decision to prioritize yourself, to tend more carefully to your inner world. Or perhaps you've recently experienced a significant disappointment in a human relationship. Maybe someone made you feel betrayed or let down, the kind of situation where you placed your trust in someone only for them to disappoint you deeply. And when that happened, a thought may have crossed your mind. I really don't want to get involved with people anymore. I'm so tired of this world. If only I could just retreat into the universe and live there, how wonderful that would be. But you know, it's precisely because you carry so much love within you, because you truly know how to love, that when you're faced with something that isn't love, it affects you deeply. It's not that you become hateful, it's that you sense that something is off, and it wounds you in a profoundly emotional way. And from that pain, you may begin to lose trust in people, in relationships. That's when you may fall into a more negative emotional space, one of weariness, disillusionment, and a reluctance to open your heart again. It's also possible that, at the time, you are genuinely on a journey of learning how to love yourself. You're turning inward, nurturing a self that has been wounded in the past, and trying to heal from within. As for the other person, the one you're going to meet, their energy is represented by a card symbolizing uncertainty and emotional wavering. It seems that they, too, are in a state of instability. They might be experiencing emotional upheaval or asking themselves deep questions about their direction in life, about their feelings, and about their sense of identity. In other words, both of you are in a place of imperfection, but precisely because of that, your souls may be able to sense each other with great clarity. You may be weary of human relationships while they are caught between reason and emotion. And yet, this meeting between you has the potential to become a powerful catalyst for mutual healing, a moment where both of you shift into a new phase of life, one that no longer seeks perfection, but instead values sincerity and resonance. This person carries an energy of ambiguity, someone standing between two sides, lacking clear resolution, not fully committing to one direction. From a romantic perspective, it's possible that when you meet them, they may already be in a relationship or involved with someone. Perhaps they have a partner or are already accompanied by another person in their life. Additionally, there's a possibility that this person travels frequently for work or lives in a state of constant movement, the type of lifestyle where they are here today, gone tomorrow, never truly grounded in one place. For example, you might meet them in Ho Chi Minh City, but in reality, they live somewhere else. So after your initial encounter, the relationship could unfold in a pattern of meeting and parting again, or there may be geographic distance that prevents the connection from feeling stable. The overall image of this person is one of instability. Whether in their outer life or inner world, they seem caught in a kind of restless busyness, always having something on their mind, always something unresolved. It's possible that when you cross paths with them, they're also in a period where life feels chaotic, where they themselves are unclear about the path they're meant to follow. They may be standing at the threshold of a major decision, or placed in a situation where a choice must be made, the kind where they know what needs to be done, but actually getting themselves to that point feels exhausting and difficult. They might be trying to juggle multiple things at once, racing against time and circumstances. In other words, their emotional state at that moment is unsteady, unsettled. Everything still feels vague, uncertain, and they are not in a position to make anything truly clear. Because of this, you might sense a certain restlessness in them, or at times, you may notice they lack calmness, appearing somewhat scattered or caught up in a whirlwind of their own inner storm. As for the setting or situation in which the two of you will meet, the imagery that appears here is associated with contracts or agreements, suggesting a high possibility that the meeting takes place within a professional environment. For example, you might be involved in the same project, signing a contract, or working together in some capacity related to collaboration or business matters. Additionally, there is another possibility hinted at, though it may be less common, which is that your encounter could occur at a location related to paperwork, formalities, or administrative processes. For instance, it could happen at a place where documents are submitted, applications are filed, or legal or governmental procedures take place. This might include an administrative office, a legal registration venue, or a facility where official forms are completed. While such places may not typically come to mind when one imagines a fated meeting, it could, quite naturally and unexpectedly, be the backdrop for this connection to unfold. Additionally, there's another clue related to paperwork, suggesting that this person might work in a field involving writing or editing, or that they frequently handle documents and text-based tasks. They could be a writer, journalist, content creator, or simply someone whose profession is closely tied to language and the professional use of words. However, one thing stands out very clearly about this person: they genuinely want to understand your emotions. For example, if you walked into a hair salon and casually said, "Just do whatever you think is best," this person, whether or not they are a hairstylist, would still take the time to ask questions, to listen carefully, to truly understand what you want, what you expect. They wouldn't treat the interaction carelessly. Instead, they would do their best to grasp the deeper needs and desires behind your words. This person possesses a very distinct trait: they are truly attentive listeners. They care about you in a sincere and heartfelt way. And in return, you may also find yourself drawn to them because they are doing something meaningful, sharing messages, communicating values, or playing a role that connects people. Perhaps you came to know them through something they wrote or shared, and through that, you felt a sense of resonance or attraction. It's also possible that your initial meeting takes place during a conversation, or when you approach them for advice or guidance on something. And on the other hand, because this person is also in a place of inner uncertainty or contemplation, they may feel an urge to confide in you as well. The connection between you may stem from a mutual feeling of, "I can talk to this person. I don't need to be guarded or maintain distance." In other words, they carry a kind of warmth and openness, a presence that makes you feel, "Yes, with this person, I can say anything." That might be the very beginning of the bond between the two of you. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, there is a strong possibility that the connection between the two of you originates from paperwork-related procedures, such as the need to exchange information, work together on documentation, or engage in a conversation to handle something administrative or legal in nature. It's not entirely clear what the exact situation might be, but this image appears quite vividly, a circumstance involving formalities that leads to your meeting. Another prominent quality of this person is the deep sense of trust they inspire. The feelings of safety, reliability, and emotional security are particularly strong when tuning into their energy. Now, moving into the description of this person's character, an even clearer image begins to emerge. They carry a grounding energy, meaning they are deeply connected to the present moment, to reality, to the tangible aspects of everyday life. Even if their mind may be wavering or uncertain at times, they still possess a solid foundation, practical, steady, and attentive to what truly matters in daily living. Indeed, the masculine energy within this person is quite distinct. Regardless of their gender, they embody qualities such as rationality, decisiveness, protectiveness, and the ability to lead. If this person is a woman, or if you are a man inquiring about a woman, or this is a same-gender relationship, then she exudes the energy of someone deeply compassionate, emotionally expansive, someone who has the capacity to hold space for others with gentleness and care. She gives off the presence of someone who embraces and soothes, who provides comfort and emotional safety. In summary, regardless of whether this person is male or female, they carry an energy of stability, someone who naturally inspires trust and, in particular, possesses a refined ability to observe and understand the emotions of others. They may not be someone whose life is perfectly in order, but they have a deep heart and a genuine sense of care, and it's this authenticity that makes them truly special. From the very first moment you see them, one thing will stand out clearly. This is someone with a strong aesthetic sense. They have a particular sensitivity to beauty, possibly a love for art, music, or creative expression. They seem to embody the qualities of Venus, a soul who appreciates beauty, creativity, artistry, and the subtle elegance of life. It's likely they work in a field related to aesthetics, fashion, beauty, or design. Or perhaps they simply take great care in maintaining their personal appearance, always polished, stylish, and distinct. They have a unique aura, magnetic and captivating, that makes it hard for you to take your eyes off them. They might be someone who frequently wears makeup, dresses with impeccable taste, or carries themselves with a distinctive charm that naturally draws attention in a crowd. Energetically, this person embodies a harmonious blend of both masculine and feminine qualities. They possess the strength, decisiveness, and logic of masculine energy, while also embracing the softness, subtlety, and emotional sensitivity of feminine energy. In other words, they have cultivated a well-balanced inner equilibrium between these two polarities. This sense of balance is further reinforced by the grounding energy they emit. They are practical, rooted in the present moment, and make decisions based on logic and tangible reality. Yet, what's especially intriguing is that they are not limited by rigidity. Despite their practicality, they are open and at ease when speaking about spiritual matters, emotional depth, or soulful experiences. They can engage in such conversations with a gentle and welcoming presence. Even if they don't fully believe in things that are mystical or emotionally driven, they don't reject them either. Instead, they might simply smile and say, "That sounds interesting," and be perfectly willing to listen to you share, without judgment. They carry a softness and openness, an energy that makes you feel at ease in their presence. This person brings with them a calm yet steady presence. They are not loud, not forceful, but they make you feel like you can lean on them. They have a quiet magnetism, a composed nature, and a deep sense of reliability. At the same time, there is a very subtle and sensitive side to them, a tender core that is easily wounded, yet also deeply profound. They may not express it openly, but you can feel it through their eyes, through the way they listen, and through the way they genuinely understand others. Up to this point, the most prominent qualities of this person are a refined aesthetic sense, a love for beauty, creativity, a harmonious balance between logic and emotion, practicality paired with openness, and most of all, a quiet, sincere attentiveness to the needs of others. Now, regarding the question, once you meet this person, how will the relationship develop? The symbols that appear are a book, a child, a house, an ancient hill, an anchor, and clouds. These images are being used to describe the final outcome of this connection. Overall, the message that comes through is this: whether in love or in work, there is a strong potential for stability between you and this person. There is a sense that things can unfold smoothly and with a solid foundation, as though both of you are building something dependable together, a structure that supports growth and endurance. However, if you're watching this reading from a romantic perspective and wondering whether this connection could develop into a true romantic relationship, the answer at this moment is keep observing. In other words, it cannot yet be confirmed. This connection holds a great deal of potential, but to determine whether the two of you will truly enter into a romantic relationship, you will need more time and more shared experiences with this person. The answer right now is it's still uncertain. But the reason for that is because this bond is still in its formative stage. The closeness between the two of you is still gradually taking shape. Therefore, the more time you spend together, the more you engage and grow close, the clearer the essence of this relationship will become. And that is, in fact, the most important part. Because when we ask about the purpose of this encounter, the message that comes through is, this person has entered your life to help awaken your truest self. And that awakening does not necessarily have to take place within a romantic relationship or require the two of you to become lovers or life partners. In some cases, if both individuals can maintain balance in a connection without labels, in a flat, natural, and pressure-free dynamic, that bond may, in fact, last longer and run deeper. This is because when a connection turns into romantic love, human emotions tend to rise intensely. That intensity can bring expectations, jealousy, longing, or insecurity, all of which can shake the stability of your inner world. And yet, this person carries a very distinct energy of stability. Two symbols simultaneously reflect this firmness, and the message of rebirth also appears, indicating that this person is here to guide you back to your most authentic self. And it is precisely through this return to yourself that you will find inner peace. They act as a catalyst that allows you to be reborn, to come back to your original essence, where you no longer live according to others' expectations or societal standards. The image of a house also appears here, a symbol of a relationship that brings peace, a sense of homecoming, and the freedom to be who you truly are. Therefore, while this could be interpreted as romantic love, it is also very possible, and perhaps even more beneficial, if the connection does not necessarily become a traditional romantic relationship. The feeling here is, there's no need to push this bond into a love story. If everything is allowed to unfold naturally, without pressure or labels, it will offer a much deeper and more lasting value. Then, an interesting message is received. Within the next few weeks, or approximately 3 weeks, you will begin to gain more clarity about this connection. However, this message is soon revised. Not 3 weeks, but 3 months. This indicates that the process may take longer than you expect. Things are unfolding in their own way, and that is perfectly okay. Immediately after, a message appears from the cards. Perfect timing. And this is something truly worth noting. The overall message is, don't rush. Allow this connection to evolve at the rhythm of the universe. There are relationships that come into our lives not to be possessed or defined, but to bring inner transformation, to support us at the exact right moment. And this person is one of those connections. They are not here for you to have them. They are here to help you have yourself once again. Even if you're currently viewing this connection from a general human relationship perspective, the message remains crystal clear. Do not rush to find the answer. There's no need to hastily define what kind of relationship this truly is, because everything will reveal itself at the most perfect moment. When the time is right, you will naturally come to realize what name this connection should carry, how the two of you are meant to journey together in a way that feels comfortable, freeing, and peaceful for both. Perhaps you and this person will become work partners or collaborate on something that exists beyond work. It could be a spiritual project, a creative pursuit, or even a shared journey of personal growth. And yes, it could also blossom into a romantic relationship or even evolve into marriage. However, none of that needs to be determined in advance. In fact, the more you try to define or label it prematurely, the more you interfere with its natural flow. That very urge to predict or control the outcome will only delay its unfolding. What could take 2 to 3 weeks may stretch into 2 to 3 months, and then even longer. The message here is, Everything will gradually become clear with each step of approach. For example, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you and this person might experience a moment of approach, a small but meaningful milestone that allows you to draw closer, like the first wave of energetic contact. Then, over the next 2 to 3 months, there could be a deeper moment of closeness, another opportunity that strengthens your bond even further. And so it will continue, evolving step by step, deepening through time. At the most aligned and fitting moment for both of you, the answer will come on its own. What this relationship truly is, what role this person is meant to play in your life, and whether you truly wish to walk this path with them. Therefore, right now, the most important thing is this: do not rush to find the answer. Do not try to force this connection into a specific mold or predefined conclusion. Instead, allow it to live, to breathe, to grow naturally. It is precisely when you release the need to control that this relationship is finally permitted to unfold along its highest destined path. And to further reinforce this message, a card will now be drawn to deliver one final note, an intimate message meant just for you, the one walking the path of discovering a connection rich with potential and meaning. Because this is a soul plan, the divine blueprint of your soul, it's no surprise that it may stir fear, trembling, or uncertainty. It truly appears that within your soul's plan, this relationship has been woven in from the very beginning. In other words, at a specific moment in time, you will come to understand clearly why the two of you have met, what the true purpose behind this encounter is. And the moment that realization arises, whether within you or within both of you, that moment will be the divinely appointed time, long destined to arrive. That's why it's entirely possible that you and this person had already made a pre-birth agreement to find each other again during this phase of planetary ascension, a time of energetic transformation like the one we are currently experiencing. Perhaps you had met before sometime in the past, but it is only now that you are truly drawing close, stepping into a phase of deep spiritual union. Lately, many such cases have been emerging. For instance, you might suddenly reconnect with someone after a year of no contact, or unexpectedly reappear in each other's lives after 3 years of silence and absence. You may find yourself pulled toward someone with an inexplicable magnetism, a connection so strong that you can't logically explain it. Or maybe someone reaches out to you again after a long time apart. The reason behind all this is that we are collectively going through a time of awakening, and when that happens, soul memories begin to resurface. And so, you're being drawn back to someone as part of this process of remembering your soul's original plan. Everything is unfolding in that way. This is a message that's being communicated very clearly now. Therefore, if you have not yet met this person, there is a high possibility that the encounter will take place within the next 2 to 3 weeks. However, regardless of the timing, know this: everything is happening exactly as your soul has planned, and that is what the messages are strongly affirming. As for the card that has shown up, it is the book, a symbol of secrets, of knowledge, of study and discovery. This card comes with the keyword commitment and visual motifs of documents, papers, and written materials. This suggests a strong likelihood that you will meet this person in a learning environment, perhaps somewhere you are currently studying or where you are exploring something new. It could be that the two of you participate in the same course, attend a training program together, or share a passion for a particular field or subject. In addition, there is a strong possibility that the two of you will meet through an online setting, such as in a virtual learning community, a shared interest group, or a chat room centered around a common topic. It could be a digital platform where people come together to share their passions or engage with others who have similar areas of interest. In short, this is a connection written into your soul's blueprint, where you and this person were destined to reunite precisely at this point in time. And so, when you begin to feel a sense of déjà vu, a deep familiarity, an unexplainable closeness, it is not an illusion. It is the sign of a soul-level bond being reawakened during this collective phase of spiritual awakening. It appears that vibrant and engaging conversations may arise in the place where you and this person meet, and these exchanges may mark the very beginning, the opening step, of your shared journey. However, there are also certain cases where this relationship may begin under unclear or complicated circumstances. Specifically, it is possible that the other person is already in a committed relationship or has a partner. In other words, the beginning of this connection could unfold as a secret relationship, one that may not be easily revealed to others, or one that is difficult to share openly with those around you. Such elements are also within the realm of possibility. What matters here is this: it is not necessary to immediately understand what this relationship is or where it is headed in the future. In the beginning, things may be quite unclear and difficult to grasp. This connection might begin in a private space, in something that needs to be kept discreet, or simply in a phase where you're not yet ready to speak about it with others. Drawing another card through intuitive guidance, the message received is that if you understand this connection simply as a human-to-human relationship, not necessarily romantic, there may still be certain constraints involved. For example, this connection might make you feel that becoming too close to the other person could lead to misunderstandings, gossip, or unwelcome assumptions from people around you. You may find yourself thinking, "We really click, but if others knew, would they misinterpret it?" Or, "Should I keep some distance just in case?" Though this may not start as a romantic bond, there is likely to be a sense of resonance between you, a very natural, effortless rapport. It's as if both of you feel, "We really get each other. It's so easy to talk, but maybe it's better if not too many people know about this connection." It might be a kind of unspoken harmony that doesn't need to be labeled, yet feels undeniably clear and mutual. The next card brings a message suggesting that you may currently be, or soon find yourself, in a somewhat entangled situation. From a romantic perspective, this could indicate a complex relationship, possibly one that involves a love triangle or a connection that is difficult to bring into the open. Why do such situations tend to arise so easily? The deeper reason lies in the fact that you are currently undergoing a karmic clearing process, that is, releasing and resolving unfinished soul ties from past lives. Throughout recent times, especially from before and into the latter half of 2024, many people have been directly facing karmic residue from the past. This includes unresolved relationships and emotional wounds carried over from previous incarnations. Therefore, being drawn to someone who is already involved with another person or who is currently in a committed relationship is not necessarily wrong. It may, in fact, be a necessary part of your soul's karmic resolution. Because some individuals, some relationships, are meant to act as karmic partners, those who appear in your life specifically to help you complete a spiritual lesson, to cleanse and transmute emotional burdens or entanglements lingering from lifetimes before. For that reason, do not be too quick to judge this connection only by its surface. It may be complicated. It may make you hesitate or feel uneasy. But what's most important is to observe what part of you is being touched, what part of your being is being awakened or remembered. It is very likely that you are in the midst of a profound awakening process, one that your soul had chosen long before you even arrived at this moment in time. This is why it is not uncommon for someone to feel an intense and magnetic pull toward another person, only to later discover that this person is already married or in a serious romantic relationship. In truth, this is not a rare occurrence. Nor can it be easily categorized as good or bad, because such powerful attractions often have a deeper, spiritual origin. It may be that one or both of you are already in official relationships. And even if this is not a romantic connection, but simply a human-to-human bond, there may still be a feeling that says, "It would be better if our relationship remained private." It's possible that you, or the other person, might feel, "We truly get along, but it's better if outsiders don't know too much." We need a private space to nurture this bond without interference, without judgment. You might feel the urge to protect the time you spend together, to shield it from being disrupted by others. And this sense of caution may stem from karmic threads, the spiritual baggage that each of you carries within. It may not be limited to the karmic ties between just the two of you, but could also involve a third party, someone else connected to this relationship. This means the entanglements and unresolved bonds from past lives might not only be between you and this person, but also include another individual. These karmic energies may now be manifesting as certain blocks or obstacles, creating resistance or confusion in your soul's awakening journey, a kind of spiritual interference or challenge meant to guide your growth and maturity on a deeper level. So, in such situations, what should you do? In truth, aside from all of these karmic elements, one thing is also very clear: there is a powerful mutual attraction between you. It's very likely that after meeting, both of you will feel an immediate pull, an urge to see each other again the next day, a natural sense of closeness and excitement. You may feel driven to uncover each other's history, to learn more, to dig deeper into who the other person truly is, to understand their past, their true self. There's an intense energy of curiosity and discovery, like you're compelled to peel back each layer of their being. And the message for you is this: surrender. Allow yourself to be carried by the natural flow of this connection. The cards are saying, it's okay. It will be all right. Even if this relationship begins under less than ideal circumstances, even if there are many things to consider, to keep hidden, to worry about in terms of how others may perceive it, it's still okay. You will be okay. This connection is real. The emotions are real. And if you allow yourself to be guided by your heart with mindful awareness, you will always find the right path through this journey. At the perfect moment, both of you will remember why you met, why your lives intersected in this particular way. When that moment arrives, every question will be answered. And because it will happen exactly at the divinely appointed time, there is no need to force anything. Simply allow yourself to move with the natural current of life. Even if, at present, the other person is involved with someone else, don't be too alarmed. This doesn't mean you're endorsing or justifying infidelity or encouraging anything morally questionable. That's not the message here. What is being spoken of lies on a much deeper level, the level of the soul. This is a conversation held in the language of spirit, not from the lens of everyday societal morality. It is hoped that you can feel and receive it from that deeper layer. A card carrying the energy of the house of the child has appeared. This immediately evokes the image of your inner child. When you encounter this person, there is a strong possibility that both of you will embark on a journey of becoming more honest with yourselves. Both you and this person will be guided back toward your inner truth, toward a state of living authentically, aligned with your genuine feelings and your original, unmasked self. In addition, a gentle signal has arisen. You may find yourself feeling drawn to sky blue or to shades of blue in general. You may naturally feel an attraction to those tones or experience a sense of peace when surrounded by them. Of course, not everyone will feel this, but for many, this is a subtle sign, a kind of inner awakening, like a stream of healing energy gently stirring within. This is a journey of returning to yourself, returning to your most original, natural state, where nothing needs to be hidden, forced, or pretended. This person will bring you a profound sense of safety, not the kind that comes from promises, but one that arises simply from their presence and the energy they radiate. And because of that, you'll notice yourself beginning to change. You'll feel your heart soften amidst a world that is constantly moving and shifting. Life right now is truly undergoing a period of profound transformation, and that may be making you feel anxious, unsettled, or uncertain. But the arrival of this person will feel like a sanctuary, a peaceful harbor where you can rest, where you might find yourself thinking, as long as this person is here, I'll be okay. And then, a card titled Stepping Out of the Old World appears. And it is an image of you, standing between your old self and your new self. It symbolizes that you are beginning to walk forward as your truest being, fully awakened and aware. A crown appears in this card as a gentle reminder. You are gradually returning to the power of your own soul. This is a journey of awakening, where you shed the old layers and rise as the most pure, strong, and free version of who you are. And that person, the one you are about to meet, or have already met, is a pivotal catalyst in that awakening journey. What is truly unfolding here is a process of awakening. You are being stirred from a dormant state, guided into a brighter, more conscious world. This marks a turning point, an important crossroads on your soul's journey, where you are being offered the chance to awaken and choose to live in alignment with your authentic self. And this person, the one with whom you are about to form a deep connection, is someone who will have a powerful influence on you. You could say they are the catalyst that propels you into a profound awakening, a force that ignites your desire to begin living in full alignment with your true nature. The pace of connection between you may also be very swift. For instance, if this relationship unfolds romantically, there is a high possibility that things will progress rapidly, such as moving in together, getting married, or introducing one another to your families. Even if there are obstacles or challenges, the relationship is likely to move forward in a stable direction. The reason for this is that both of you will become more honest and transparent with your emotions. It is precisely this honesty, the willingness to face what you truly want, that becomes the driving force behind the development of this bond. For example, after meeting, It may take only about 3 months for the two of you to reach a deeply committed stage, perhaps living together, building a relationship that feels like a spiritual marriage, or entering a phase where your two souls are fully attuned to one another. There is also a sense that the two of you may end up working together, perhaps co-founding a company, establishing a shared community, or creating something that embodies a sense of unity and long-term commitment. This bond is not limited to the emotional realm. It also opens a pathway for you to walk side by side through life's journey as a kind of family, in the broader and deeper sense of the word. If you are viewing this reading from the perspective of general relationships rather than purely romantic ones, the message remains the same. The two of you will co-create a shared space together, such as renting an office, building a physical or energetic place of belonging, or sharing a living or working environment. This reveals the profound resonance between the two of you. It's possible that you like the same things as children, or now share similar interests and passions. This natural alignment makes the relationship feel easy, harmonious, and unforced. There's no need to try too hard, no need to stretch yourself to fit. What stands out is that, when observing the overall spread, there is no sense of instability or emotional turbulence, no feelings of fear, confusion, or overwhelming highs and lows. Everything flows with a sense of steadiness and calm. There is no roller coaster of intense emotional waves. On the contrary, the energy of this reading is one of serenity, clarity, and quiet strength, a kind of connection that makes you feel, I can be fully myself, and I am still accepted, still embraced. This is the kind of rare connection where you don't need to try to make things work, your mere presence is enough. And then, you will begin to feel it clearly. This is a process of rebirth. Not only will your inner world transform, but your external environment and circumstances will begin to shift as well. There may be changes in where you live, the work you do, or the relationships you maintain, but all of it will move toward greater stability and positivity. Whether it manifests in love, career, or human connections, a new wave of energy is approaching, a wave of stability, peace, and elevation. This person will bring you a deep and grounded sense of safety and calm, as if you can finally exhale in their presence. And likewise, you will also carry the power to bring that same peace to them. This bond is one of mutual support, both of you offering and receiving comfort, healing, and a profound sense of belonging. As the relationship deepens, something extraordinary will begin to occur. You will no longer be able to live the way you used to. The old ways of being, the old thought patterns, the outdated versions of yourself, they will begin to fall away. You will lay to rest the parts of you that are no longer aligned, closing the chapters that belong to the past, and from there, step into a new phase of life that is grounded and truly stable. The card also delivers a message that you will have the opportunity to do work that you genuinely love. This means that both aspects, material and spiritual, can come into alignment. You will be able to live your passion, experience abundance, and at the same time be surrounded by healthy, supportive relationships. It is this synthesis of purposeful work, financial harmony, emotional fulfillment, and a high-quality human connection that will bring you real peace, a life you can trust, breathe freely within, and feel deeply nourished by each and every day. Next, the keyword communication emerges, accompanied by another card that speaks of true love. Both cards point to the same message. The two of you will come together very quickly. It seems the progression of this relationship won't require much time at all, as if, once you meet, everything will begin to flow naturally and the connection will grow steadily stronger. However, the core element here is the conversation. Dialogue is the spark, it is the catalyst that brings you closer to one another. It's likely that the other person will be the one to initiate, someone with the ability to open up space for meaningful discussion, someone who draws stories out of you, who makes you want to share, to open your heart. They will show genuine interest, a kind of warm and respectful curiosity toward who you truly are. Therefore, if you wish for this relationship to evolve into a genuine, lasting love, if you hope to nurture that sense of stability and profound peace, then cherish and give mindful attention to every conversation between the two of you. Keep the channels of communication open and flowing, because it is through those words, those quiet, sincere exchanges, that a bridge is built, bringing two hearts ever closer together. And within this connection, it's not just about true love. What matters even more is speaking the truth of your heart. Not in a way that circles around the point, not saying the opposite of what you feel just to test the other person or to protect yourself. not waiting for them to speak first, because you're feeling insecure, lonely, and needing reassurance. But rather, you choose to be the one who speaks up with sincerity. This is how I feel. This is what I genuinely think. Human beings are mirrors for one another. If you're afraid that being honest will lead to rejection, to being disliked, and so you choose to hide your real emotions, there's a very real chance that the other person is thinking and feeling the exact same way. They might also fear rejection, fear disappointing you, and so they too choose silence. The result is that both of you end up living in assumptions, maintaining distance, even though deep down, your hearts long to be close. But if you speak truthfully and say, I appreciate you. You matter to me. I genuinely want to connect with you, then something magical will happen. The other person will find the courage to express their own true feelings as well. Because honesty, when it comes from the heart, always touches the heart of another. However, especially in love, and even in other close relationships, we are often very afraid. Afraid that if we say what we truly feel, we might get hurt. Afraid that if our feelings aren't returned, we'll be left in pain. And so, we choose silence. We keep our distance. We wait for the other person to speak first. But it is precisely that silence which prevents the two of you from truly connecting, even when the feelings are already there. We fall into a state of dissonance, where we could have touched each other's hearts, but instead, we grow distant. Not because the feelings aren't there, but because we lack the courage to speak the truth that lives inside us. Of course, you may worry, what if I get rejected? What if they don't feel the same? What if I end up hurt? But true love, genuine love, is not something to be weighed by risk. True love is not a conditional exchange, it is the act of giving from the heart. The very fact that you can love someone, that you can think of someone sincerely, with care and reverence, that alone is already something miraculous. To love someone, simply to love, is something beautiful. It is a sacred state of being, and that feeling in itself is never wrong. Trust that no one truly resents being loved sincerely, because at the core, we all of us were created from love. We live in a world where honesty and love has become increasingly rare. And perhaps you feel that too, that in this lifetime, it's not easy to find someone who will look you in the eye and truly say, I love you. I care about you. I deeply appreciate your presence in my life. So, if you feel that kind of love, don't hold it back. Let it flow outward. Let it reach the other person's heart as a gift. Because that is the most beautiful thing we can give to one another in this lifetime. If the other person were to speak their feelings honestly to you, imagine how happy that would make you feel, wouldn't it? Because you're the same. When someone sincerely tells you they cherish you, that they love you, it warms your heart. And yet, fears slip in. You start to wonder, will they think I'm too much? Will this feeling seem like a burden? But in truth, the reason you feel that way is because you're hoping for something in return. You express your feelings with the expectation of being loved back. You give love and wish to receive love in exchange. But if that's the case, then it's not yet true love, not unconditional love. True love is giving without needing to receive. It's enough just to be able to say, I love you. I care about you. I am sincere with you. That alone is enough. That is the highest expression of love. Because it is your feeling, it is the sincerity of your heart, and that, in itself, is already complete. That is what true communication is, when you don't demand anything from the other person's reaction, but simply allow yourself to express your truth with honesty. What the other person thinks, how they feel, how they respond, that is their right, their space. And if their answer does not match your hope, if the outcome is not what you wished for, you are still worthy of pride in yourself. Because you have loved, and you have been brave enough to show that love. And that is a noble act. In that moment, tell yourself, I did my best. I loved this person with all my sincerity. And I love myself for that. Say to your own heart, thank you for being brave. I love you more than anything in this world. I am so proud of you. The very act of expressing your true feelings to someone, that is an act of love toward yourself. Because it means you are acknowledging and honoring your inner emotions. You are no longer denying, no longer burying them. You are recognizing yourself, and that sets your soul free. And so, no matter what the outcome may be, you will no longer feel regret. Because you have lived true to your heart, and that is the most beautiful expression of self-love. When you truly love someone but keep suppressing your emotions, not daring to show them, not daring to speak them out loud, all those feelings will gradually accumulate inside. Especially in love, when you don't allow yourself to fully feel, when you don't let yourself live with that emotion, the things left unresolved will only grow larger over time. And then, at some point, when you can no longer bear it, those emotions will erupt. They might drive you to act impulsively, to say extreme things, or to make decisions from a place of deep hurt. If you keep bottling everything up like that, then when you finally say, "I give up," or "let's just end it," even if you walk away, your heart will still be held back. Because what hasn't been expressed, what hasn't been lived honestly, what hasn't been revealed, doesn't simply disappear. It stays there, quietly prolonging your regret and lingering restlessly in your mind. So, don't hold it all in. Love and speak it out. Not to gain something in return, but so you can live truthfully, with the most sincere heart of yours. Otherwise, you'll keep carrying that burden of regret. You'll forever be held back inside by questions like, if only I had said something back then, or if only I had dared to show how I felt. But if you give everything, if you offer your love fully and wholeheartedly, from the truest part of your heart, and face it, if you throw that love entirely toward the other person, even if the word throw sounds forceful, what it really means is that you are pouring your love into that connection in the most complete and heartfelt way. That is how you pour the essence of your love into the bond itself. And once you've done that, there will be nothing left to regret. You'll be able to say to yourself, "I gave it my all. I lived truthfully." You will feel a sense of completeness within. "I did everything I could. There is nothing left for me to regret." Of course, that doesn't mean you forced your feelings onto the other person or tried to impose your love upon them. It means you were honest, you spoke your truth, you didn't hide your emotions. And it is precisely that honesty that frees you from having to carry the lingering weight of regret in your heart. In love, fear is natural, because the opposite of love is fear. In this world, when you reduce things to their essence, there are only two states, love and fear. When you begin to truly love someone, that is also when fear begins, fear of being hurt, fear of losing them, fear of being unreciprocated. But the very presence of fear is proof that you are truly in love. You only feel anxious, only feel pain, when you genuinely carry a deep love in your heart. And that means you have a love that is big enough to be given. It is because you love deeply that you feel afraid. It is because your heart is overflowing with love that you feel wounded, worried, or hesitant. But it is also because that love is so immense, so full, that you are entirely capable of giving it, fully capable of offering it without fearing loss. And do just that, offer your love to that person. Show it. Speak it. Because when you give love unconditionally, you open yourself to receiving true love from them in return. Not a love that is shaped and molded to fit your expectations, but a genuine love, one that comes from the deepest place in their heart. Even in communication, just a single sentence can carry profound sincerity. And that is the most vital element in relationships today, whether in love or in human connection. Let every word you speak be filled with your true heart. Let every conversation become a real bridge, one where there is no pretending, no avoidance. Do not hide. Do not lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Because the most important thing, the thing that sustains everything and gives it depth, is true love and absolute honesty with your own heart. Everything begins there. And everything ends in the fulfillment that flows from that very place. The deeply essential truth in building a relationship between two people is communication. That is the message the cards have emphasized. Allow yourself to exchange love through every conversation. Let your sincerity and gentleness make your heart shine ever more brightly. And then, it is that very light that will cause you to shine. You will become a guiding light for others, the one who brings illumination to the world around you. When you know how to feel love, to receive it with your heart, that light will be kindled. And the beautiful thing is that light does not remain with you alone, but spreads out, radiates toward others, warming every space you step into. And yes, you will experience a great deal of love with this person. Whether it is romantic love or not, this will still be a connection filled with affection. The form or label of the relationship, truly, is no longer what matters most. Yes, there will come a time when you understand clearly what this relationship is, but even more important than that is the experience of love you share together. This is someone who will make you feel, I'm truly glad I met this person in my life. You may feel grateful to fate, to the universe, or to your own journey for leading you to this encounter. A person like this is not easy to find, but you will have the blessing of meeting them. I will now close the reading for those who chose pile 1 here. If you enjoyed this message, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support my channel. Your companionship and encouragement are a powerful source of inspiration that helps me continue spreading messages of healing and positivity to more and more people. If there was anything in today's reading that stirred your heart, awakened an emotion or a thought, even something very small, I hope you'll leave a comment or a simple little symbol. That will be a precious sign that your heart has received this message. I deeply cherish every single word, every feeling you share, because that is where our hearts truly connect. Thank you so much for being here, for staying until the end. I look forward to seeing you again in the next reading. Hello to those of you who chose pile 2. Thank you for waiting. Now, I will begin the reading for those who were drawn to the second pile. I hope this reading brings you healing, new insights, and moments filled with love and tenderness. The theme of today's reading is the person who is about to come closer to you in the near future, someone with whom you will form a powerful connection. Together, we'll explore the purpose behind this meeting between you and this person you are about to connect deeply with. Why have the two of you been destined to cross paths? And what direction will this relationship likely take as it unfolds? The first cards to appear are indecision and healing light. From the very beginning, the energy is unmistakable. This is a deeply spiritual connection, one that resonates strongly at a soul level. At the same time, 2 cards representing your current state have also come through, suggesting that you may be navigating a phase filled with confusion and emotional uncertainty. The conflict card appears in its reverse position, which indicates that you may have previously experienced internal turmoil, a period marked by doubts, disorientation, and a loss of direction. Yet now, you are gradually emerging from that vortex. In the past, you may have found yourself torn, unsure whether to move forward or pull back, unsure whether to follow your emotions or listen to logic. But now, it seems that you are slowly moving toward the light, or at the very least, there is a genuine desire within you to reclaim a sense of clarity in your heart. The Stop in Progress card appears, like a gentle reminder of something you once gave up on. Was there something you deeply wanted to do, but stepped back from at the very last moment? Perhaps you once considered getting closer to someone, opening your heart, or accepting a relationship, but in the end, you withdrew because of fear? The message here is very clear. You may have once truly wanted to step into a connection, or wanted to immerse yourself in something emotionally profound, but then chose not to continue. You may have decided not to dive into that emotional current, not to commit to that relationship. And the reason was fear. You sensed something that made you uneasy. You felt that you weren't ready to face the potential hurt, the uncertainty, or even your own heart. In fact, for some of you, there may have recently been an unexpected change in your plans. Something you were really looking forward to, an event, a trip, a meeting, or a project, was canceled at the last minute. And that left you feeling disappointed, disoriented, or as if something you had placed so much trust in was suddenly taken away. But none of that happened by accident. All of it is connected to the upcoming connection between you and this person. The two of you are not meant to meet merely for romance, but to heal and to awaken one another. The purpose of this relationship is to bring you back to your authentic self, to help you overcome fear, overcome hesitation, overcome the very things that once made you give up halfway. You are being guided to face the very things you once tried to avoid. And the person who is about to enter your life, they are the catalyst for that process. They won't force you. But their presence, their eyes, their heart, and the connection that exists between you will make you question yourself. Do I still want to miss out? Do I still want to run away from what I truly feel? This is a reading that begins with an energy of profound depth and transformation. It is not merely about meeting someone to fall in love with, but about a soul encounter that urges you to return to yourself, to dare to live from a place of honesty, with an awakened heart and self. And because of that, no matter where you are on your journey, whether you've hesitated, withdrawn, or felt unsure, you are still being led toward the light, toward the place where your heart will be healed. Perhaps there was a moment when you felt you had seen the path ahead, as if things were becoming clear, and yet, suddenly, everything turned vague. All at once, you no longer knew what you truly wanted. The path you once thought you would continue now feels unfamiliar. The number sequence 444, a symbol of stability, appears in this reading, but in a reversed position. That indicates you may be experiencing a period of inner instability or turbulence in your external life. It suggests a temporary phase where your foundation feels shaky, your sense of direction uncertain. But even in that uncertainty, something essential is shifting, preparing you for a deep, authentic transformation. However, the inner conflict card appears in its reverse position, carrying the message that you are gradually moving out of your internal struggles. Perhaps you had once put in tremendous effort, striving to advance, to achieve something, to win over a relationship, to succeed in love. But now you are beginning to let that go. You are no longer caught in the endless loop of must accomplish, must attain. Instead, you are stepping into a state of calm and ease, where resistance no longer exists. It may be that you've released yourself from the pressure of having to rise above, untied yourself from the belief that you need to do more, to be better, to love harder. There is a very clear and peaceful energy radiating from you at this time. You might find yourself in a rather neutral emotional state, not overly excited, not pushing yourself too hard. And this is not a negative sign. On the contrary, it indicates that you are getting closer to true inner freedom. There were times when you wrestled between what you truly wanted and what you thought you had to do. For example, you knew that continuing on your current path might earn you a promotion, praise, or recognition. But then, you suddenly realized that's no longer the path meant for you, and you chose to walk away. Some of you may have felt that you were falling too deeply in love, and so you drew boundaries for yourself. I must not love too much. I must not let myself be carried away. I must not allow my heart to cross certain lines. You placed brakes and limits on your own emotions, not allowing yourself to go further, as a form of self-protection. But the person you are about to connect deeply with, the one who is about to enter your life, will be someone who helps you elevate your sense of self-worth. This is, in fact, the deepest purpose behind this meeting. They are not coming into your life just to love you. They are here to help you see your true worth, to help you remember who you are, how deserving you truly are, how deeply loved and accepted you can be without having to try, without needing to change a single thing. This relationship will be the one that restores your self-respect, revives your inner confidence, and teaches you how to love yourself from the deepest core of your being. This is not just an ordinary connection. This is a soul-awakening encounter, one that allows you to stop placing conditions on yourself, to stop minimizing your emotions in order to fit into someone else's expectations, and instead to live in alignment with your own light and the natural dignity that has always existed within you. And that is the sacred reason why the two of you have been destined to meet. This person will be someone who brings confidence back into your life. They will allow you to feel your own worth in the most natural, profound, and effortless way. The receiving card appears with the message that you and this person are already vibrating on the same frequency. You exist within the same energetic space, and that is why you are magnetically drawn to one another. However, you may initially feel that this person is out of reach. While this may not be objectively true, your own perception might make them seem like they belong to another world, a world that feels higher, more distant, one that you don't easily have access to. They could be someone who holds a high position in their company, someone influential, someone with social status, or someone who is widely admired. Alternatively, if you're the one in that position of recognition or leadership, then they may be someone you don't often have the chance to interact with, perhaps an employee from another department, or someone outside your usual environment. In short, this is the kind of person you wouldn't normally have the chance to meet or develop a connection with, not because of physical distance, but because of a perceived sense of separation in terms of social class, environment, or life circumstances. You may feel as though the two of you don't belong to the same world. And yet, the truth is that you are most able to be your authentic self when you are with this person. The Healing Light card appears, confirming that this person is a soul-level remedy for you. If you've often struggled with self-doubt, if you've carried insecurities, or have felt like you're not enough, this person will come into your life and gently dissolve all of those doubts. Their presence will bring you peace, will make you feel safe, and will create the sense that, finally, someone truly sees you for who you are. But that's not all. When you meet this person, a powerful card titled Conscious Manifestation also appears, delivering an exceptionally strong message. This encounter carries the energy of a miracle. It is a form of inner liberation, an activation of your inner light, and a gateway to a phase of profound transformation. When the two of you connect, it may lead to major shifts both spiritually and in your outer reality, as if you are entering a state of soul alchemy, transforming every wound into strength, every limitation into opportunity. This person is the mirror that reflects to you the truth that you are already whole, already complete, and absolutely worthy of being loved in the fullest, most unconditional way. They will awaken the part of your soul that you may have forgotten to help you remember who you are and how radiant and free you are capable of becoming. And it is through this connection that the miracles in your life will begin to take form. In other words, this is a connection where both of you and this person, will help each other unlock the true potential within. It is a soul alchemy kind of bond, one where both are destined to guide each other toward the deepest awakening. This person will help you remember your true essence, allowing you to say to yourself, so this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I was born for. And in return, you will do the same for them. This is the kind of connection that helps each other awaken to their soul's mission, and at the same time, empowers one another to create tangible change in the physical world. Not just spiritual inspiration, but actual support to manifest dreams, ambitions, and visions that are waiting to take shape in reality. This meeting is both sacred and practical, as if each of you has been waiting for the other to arrive, to begin building something truly grand together. And because of all this, it can be said that this person is truly a partner to your soul. Even if you are currently in a relationship or already have a life partner, this person can still be someone who will walk with you in some form, perhaps a future life partner, a collaborator in your work, or a spiritual companion who will journey with you through the rest of your life. It cannot be said for certain whether this relationship will develop into a romantic love, because it transcends the usual definitions of affection. This person may not become your lover in the conventional sense, but they will be a true companion, someone who enters your new era with you, someone with whom you can build a future, live a meaningful life, and co-create a new world. This is someone who will walk beside you in the process of building a new reality on Earth, as if the two of you were born to fulfill a mission greater than yourselves. This connection is not simply emotional, but carries the energy of a spiritual revolution, a deep companionship designed to bring forth what has never been seen before. You and this person are not coming together merely to love, but to live, to transform, and to change the world, quite literally. This is the kind of soul connection destined to form in a time of collective transition, where both souls were meant to find each other and give rise to something far greater than love alone. A true soul alliance. This person is truly someone who is deeply aligned with you, not only a match, but someone who is worthy of standing beside you in a relationship of equality, mutual respect, and mirrored balance. If you've ever had a tendency towards self-doubt, ever rejected your own worth, or believed you were not good enough, their presence will feel like a gentle stream of fresh water, pouring confidence and love into your being. They may use words filled with warmth and affection to heal the wounds you've been carrying for so long. The feeling when you meet this person is like finding the missing piece of yourself, a part you didn't even realize had been lost, but whose return brings such a profound sense of relief that all you can do is exhale softly and think, yes, this is what I've been searching for. There is no more sense of lack, no more striving to fill some invisible emptiness. You'll feel safe, whole, and even nurtured from within. And because that inner sense of lack is no longer present, you will step into a state of abundance and completeness unlike anything you've experienced, both within your soul and in your outer reality. This connection is not only meaningful on a personal level, but carries a much greater purpose, one of soul resonance and universal alignment. What comes through very clearly is this: the purpose of this relationship is not just for you to understand yourself, but for both of you to do something meaningful and expansive together. This is not merely a relationship for love, it is a soul alliance, a connection in which both of you are called to serve something greater than yourselves. When the two of you combine your powers, the light you generate together will be many times greater than what either of you could create alone. It feels as though two individual flames are joining, creating a radiant glow wide enough to illuminate an entire space. And what's truly fascinating, as this energy channel opens, I feel a growing warmth in my hands. This is a strong sign that both of you possess healing abilities, whether emotional, energetic, or spiritual. You may have noticed at some point that your hands carry warmth, or the other person's hands do. When the two of you touch, Whether physically, energetically, or through the heart, a powerful field of energy is created. Through that union, the two of you will generate a beam of healing light meant for the earth itself. I can see a vision of this light expanding, radiating outward, bringing peace, tenderness, and a grounded sense of calm to the surrounding world. It is a kind of spreading energy that doesn't come from spectacle or show, but from a quiet and deeply authentic inner strength. This is a sacred connection, a convergence of two souls who carry a mission, who embody light, and who hold a love so vast that it not only heals each other, but also opens the gateway to healing for the world. Truly, the power of human beings is a wonder, because emotional energy can resonate. When two people are in harmony, the frequency they generate together doesn't remain confined to just the two of them. It expands outward, influencing everyone around them. At first, you may think of this as simply a private bond between two individuals, but the radiance of the love and energetic resonance between you is immense, powerful. It's like a wave of light rippling through your shared space, inspiring, healing, and awakening an entire community. And now, let's take a look at the timing of your meeting. If you have the feeling that you may have already encountered this person, then consider this part a gentle reminder, an invitation to reflect on the past and connect what is happening now with what you have already experienced. We have cards representing the timing for both you and this person, as well as signs pointing to the place and opportunity of your meeting. Both of the key cards belong to the suit of Pentacles, an element that symbolizes reality, the material world, and stability. However, what stands out is that the Five of Pentacles appears in the reverse position in the message concerning the other person. This is a very strong sign that this individual has gone through a difficult period, perhaps financially, emotionally, or spiritually. They may have experienced a profound sense of loneliness, a feeling of having fallen into the deepest depths of life, as though cut off from all support and light. It may have been a time when they felt lost, disconnected, or completely cast aside. These experiences may have happened before you met, or it could be that you will meet them during this very chapter of their life. But what is important is this: the card appears in its reversed position, and that carries the meaning of salvation, healing, and the first steps out of darkness. And so, you are the one who will lead them back into the light. A vivid image emerges. From the very first moment you meet, you will become someone they can trust, someone they can open up to, someone with whom they can pour out all that has been weighing on their soul. Whether the connection begins as a friendship or a gentle acquaintance, the bond will quickly deepen because you will appear to them as a source of light, a safe harbor, a grounding presence in their life. You will not approach them with urgency, but with a gentle, compassionate touch. And yet, it is precisely that gentleness that carries such a powerful healing energy. Through it, they will sense your inner light and begin their journey of restoration. The meeting between you and this person is a spiritual turning point. Not only for them, but for you as well. From that moment forward, healing will not flow in one direction. While they begin to mend, you two will be called into deeper alignment with your own soul's purpose, as a guide, a bearer of light, and a vital part of their rebirth. This is not a chance encounter. It is a destined reunion, a meeting arranged long before, for two souls to step together into a new chapter of life. This person, when they come into your life, will show you the full range of their emotions in a way that feels completely natural. They have a tendency to lean on you with a deep sense of trust, as if you are the only one in the world they feel safe enough to be vulnerable with. There is a clear emotional resonance that says, if it's you, I can say, please help me without hesitation. That energy is raw, sincere, and deeply comforting, a sign of a profound emotional connection between the two of you. As for the timing of your meeting, it appears that you will encounter this person during a period when you've just completed something, a stage in which you feel you've overcome a challenge, or have a sense of personal accomplishment. It may also be a time when you're slowly regaining confidence, beginning to feel better about yourself, your abilities, and feeling equipped to offer wise, grounded advice to others. At that point, you may find yourself thinking, I can really help this person. I'm strong enough now to be someone's anchor. And that, in itself, is a very clear sign that you are in a good, stable mental and emotional space, fully ready to welcome a deep and meaningful connection. However, alongside that stability, the reading also reveals that within you, there is still a powerful drive to move forward. You are not settling into comfort. Instead, You carry within you a longing for more, perhaps the desire to earn more income, to explore new possibilities, to rise higher in your career, or simply to expand your personal limits. You may not be entirely consumed by the need to strive, but you are undoubtedly in a state of strong desire for growth. You feel that you need to do more, prove more, achieve more, not necessarily out of insecurity, but perhaps driven by an internal motivation or the pressure of expectations around you. The cards also indicate that there is an energy from your external environment placing great expectations on you. You may be in a role where others hold high hopes for you, or perhaps you're carrying the responsibility of being a leader, someone who is expected to succeed. And because of this, you tell yourself, I have to try harder. I can't afford to stop. I must reach even greater goals. In summary, the time when you meet this person may be when you are carrying both a deep sense of confidence and an unrelenting desire to rise higher. You are strong enough to be a support for someone else, yet also immersed in your own journey of powerful personal growth. And it is at that exact intersection where your energy is both grounded and aspirational that this person will step into your life. They will come not only to be healed by you, but to walk beside you through the next phase of your path toward growth and awakening. For this reason, in a certain sense, it appears that you are the one with the inner capacity to hold this person, to be their anchor, at least in the beginning. You have the composure, the inner space, the strength of spirit to do so. You may be the one to care for their emotions, to lead them toward the light, to help mend what has been fractured within them. And at this point, another message comes through with striking clarity. There is a strong possibility that the two of you are switching roles, or that the energy between you may be reversed. Because this is a deep soul connection, possibly a twin flame, soul companion, or another sacred spiritual bond, it is not uncommon in readings like this for your situations to appear as mirror reflections. What is being said about the other person may, in fact, be describing your own emotions or current state, and vice versa. Regarding the timing of your meeting, the Three of Wands appears in the reversed position, a sign of an unexpected occurrence, a deliberate detour in the flow of events. One powerful image being conveyed is this. The encounter begins with a sudden change in plans, for example, a canceled appointment, an event you intended to attend being postponed, or a trip that gets called off. And it is precisely within the unexpected space, created by what seems like a disruption, that the destined meeting unfolds. It could be that a friend suddenly invites you to a gathering on the exact day your schedule unexpectedly opens. Or perhaps you message someone on impulse at a random moment, or you receive a spontaneous, unplanned invitation. In other words, this is the kind of situation where, had it not been for the original disruption, the two of you may never have crossed paths. There is a distinct sense that spirit guides and background energies are orchestrating this meeting, as if the universe is carefully arranging a series of offbeat, misaligned events in just the right way to bring the two of you into the same space, at the same moment. And what's particularly special is that everything may begin with something that leaves you feeling disappointed or regretful, yet that very moment becomes the doorway to something far more sacred. In essence, this is a meeting masterfully and delicately coordinated by invisible forces. It will not happen according to your plans. It will come at a time you least expect, and quite possibly be hidden behind a seemingly minor disruption or unwanted change. But that very incident will open a new journey, a path where two souls find one another again. This is not simply an encounter between people, but a convergence of light, of mission, of sacred healing destined for both of you. For this reason, when you receive an invitation to a place or event that you normally would not attend, somewhere outside of your usual circles, there is a high chance that this person will be present. That feeling comes through incredibly clearly. I will draw another card, because while this is already rich with meaning, there is still more to uncover. And one more insight has just surfaced. This fated meeting may also be linked to a moment when you change something you've long been accustomed to. It could be switching out something you use regularly, changing a familiar routine, or replacing someone who usually serves or assists you in everyday life. For example, going to a new salon, having a different hairdresser, or working with a new consultant at a store you frequent. It could even be a transformation in your appearance, a kind of inner and outer metamorphosis. Any of these changes, no matter how big or small, may serve as the signal that leads to this destined encounter. And there is one more thing I feel with absolute clarity. You are being guided toward a meeting with someone who will open the doorway to your destiny. This person may not be the one you are currently thinking about, but you will encounter someone whose energy is powerfully uplifting, someone who radiates positivity. They might possess spiritual abilities, be someone often referred to as having a special gift, or work in a field connected to divination or healing, such as a spiritual therapist, a fortune teller, a feng shui master, or even someone seemingly ordinary who nonetheless carries a deeply magnetic energy. For instance, a beauty professional like a hairstylist with golden hands. These people truly exist, individuals who work in service-based roles but who, through their energy, naturally elevate your vibrational field. And it's very likely that you will meet someone like that. It may be through that meeting, or simply through a small change in your appearance, even the slightest shift, that a new energetic current is activated by the universe. And that very shift will become the turning point that leads you toward the person who is truly meant for you. The card I've just drawn is Mending, which speaks of healing, but in this context, also carries the message of reconciliation. In fact, this card also suggests compromise, softness, and a gentle yielding. The card I received just before this one echoed the same kind of energy, also pointing toward the theme of mutual understanding and inner peace. In other words, the message here is this: the process of meeting this person may not arrive as a sudden, electrifying moment, but rather as a journey, one that involves the gradual adjustment of energy, a softening from both sides. And perhaps you, in particular, will need to shift certain habits, ways of living, or open your heart more fully in order to receive what is coming. When you truly enter that state, a state of openness, of welcoming the new, even through the most ordinary of changes such as altering the places you frequent or changing something about your appearance, then the meeting will unfold. And that person will be the one who brings healing, the one who helps you mend or even unlocks a wave of fortune in your life. The Mending card represents reconciliation and gentle compromise. However, when this card is reversed, it may carry the opposite meaning, suggesting that healing may not occur. In that context, it can symbolize disconnection, resistance, or a refusal to yield. Which brings me to a deeper reflection. This may be about you gradually releasing some of the rigid requirements you've held onto. For instance, perhaps in the past you've always had a fixed image of your ideal type, or believed that happiness could only be found with someone who fit a particular mold, a specific appearance, a set of personality traits. Maybe you held tightly to standards like, only someone like this can match me, or only a person with these qualities can truly make me happy. But when those expectations begin to soften, when those rigid criteria start to dissolve, and when you stop being so strict with what you believe is necessary, you will start to open to people you may never have considered before. And in that openness, you may find happiness with someone who surprises you, someone who, in the past, you would never have imagined was meant for you. That's why I sense that you will meet the right person at the moment when your heart begins to open, when you are ready to explore and learn more about others. You will no longer feel confined by what you once thought was your ideal type. Instead, you will be willing to embrace whatever comes naturally, without rigidity or control. This reflects a state you will move into, a phase in which you gradually open up, becoming more curious and receptive toward the people around you. And, from that openness, someone will step into your life. There are times in life when we struggle to recognize ourselves, when we can't easily discern who is truly meant for us. Understanding yourself isn't always simple because we're often blinded by our dreams, ideals, and personal biases. However, it's often the people around us who see us most clearly, who point out what we cannot yet see, and say, she's the one for you, or he's exactly the kind of person you need. And it is in that moment that you might suddenly realize, maybe this person is the one I've been searching for all along, even if I didn't know it myself. So perhaps that kind of moment, a word from someone, a simple suggestion, has already happened to you. Maybe someone once said, why not try dating someone like that? Or at the very least, just go have dinner with them and see what happens. You may have received this kind of advice or encouragement from someone close to you. And I'm sensing strongly that there is already someone present in your life, or in the life of the person you're thinking about, someone who is gently supporting from behind the scenes, nudging, encouraging, cheering you on so that the two of you can move closer to one another. That's why I feel there's a strong possibility that a third person will play a key role in bringing this connection together, a kind of bridge, an intermediary force that helps unite the two of you. Now, let's take a look at the defining traits of this person. From the Oracle deck, we have the cards Solitude and Divine Feminine. The next card is the Ace of Wands. I can feel very clearly that this person carries an incredibly powerful energy, truly powerful. When I look at these three cards, the first impression I receive is that this is someone who possesses immense inner strength. They are strong from within. At the same time, it's fair to say they can be quite headstrong, even somewhat stubborn, and at times a bit self-centered in the way they want things done their way. However, this isn't meant in a negative sense at all. On the contrary, I feel that although this person has such intense strength, they also have a remarkable ability to regulate themselves, to adjust in a way that maintains harmony with those around them. They are the type of person who can read the room, who notices the emotions and expressions of those nearby, and makes sure not to put anyone in an uncomfortable position or cause hurt. Even though there's a fierce fire burning within them, a bold, assertive individuality, they are still capable of maintaining softness and emotional balance. That's what makes this person so uniquely harmonious, a blend of strength and gentleness, of willpower and kindness. Truly, this is someone who embodies an exceptionally rare form of inner equilibrium. This person is truly kind-hearted. I also sense that they are the type who often carries inner burdens without speaking of them. They are someone who tends to keep their thoughts to themselves, quietly dwelling on their feelings, silently enduring their emotional weight. I feel they are quite introspective, someone who often shoulders everything alone, who absorbs a great deal without showing it outwardly. And perhaps you are the one who will bring healing to these wounds within them through the healing light, in a way that is natural, gentle, and profoundly soothing. That's the impression I receive. Now, let's turn to the unfolding of the story. The next cards drawn are Cross, Dog, Letter, Whip, and Bear. There's something in this spread that makes me feel that this person, and the connection between you and them, truly revolves around love. But not love in its usual sense. The card Big Happy Changes also appears here, and it signals that this is indeed a love story, but a love completely unlike anything you've ever experienced before. It feels as though the universe is saying, yes, this is love, but not the kind of love defined by simply liking each other, falling in love, or being romantically attracted in a conventional way. It's not just personal affection, attraction, or romantic sweetness. This is a love that belongs to an entirely different dimension, a love that is deep, transcendent, and far beyond any familiar pattern. It is a kind of love that cannot be measured, cannot be compared, because it is too extraordinary. It is a soul connection. And the cards speak in unison. This person is your destiny. No matter how things unfold, you and this person are two souls destined to meet, a meeting written into your soul plan long before you entered this lifetime. Of course, in truth, all significant soul connections carry a sense of destiny. But in this case, there is a particularly strong feeling that this person's presence will mark a profound turning point in your life, a revolutionary shift. They are a pivotal figure in your soul journey, a critical juncture, a point of no return. From the very beginning of this connection, you may feel that the relationship is not entirely easy, as if it is a love with obstacles or some form of barrier. These difficulties may stem from circumstances, differences, or something that prevents the two of you from coming together effortlessly. The reading also reveals symbolic elements such as void, the empty space, and gray, the heavy, misty shade. These symbols indicate that when you meet this person, you may not simply feel happiness or excitement. On the contrary, you might experience a strange, unplaceable fear. That fear arises because you will feel drawn to this person as if being pulled into a whirlpool, a powerful, invisible force that sweeps you away, irresistible and inescapable. This isn't just attraction or fondness, it is something that reaches into the deepest layers of who you are, touching a place within you that your mind alone cannot defend or explain. Because of that, this relationship is very likely to make both of you feel as though you're sinking deeply into one another, in a way that feels almost dangerous, almost obsessive. You may both feel as if you're stepping into a world from which there is no escape. Like falling into a sweet quicksand, knowing you won't be able to get out, but not wanting to escape either. That is the overwhelming feeling I receive from the entirety of this reading, and I truly believe it to be true. This seems to be the kind of connection where, once you fall in, it could lead to complications. For example, the two of you might work together, a situation where entering into a romantic relationship could impact many other aspects of life. And precisely because this person evokes something far beyond what you'd call ordinary love, it intensifies the sense of fear. When you meet this person, you'll feel incredibly drawn to them, but at the same time, a fear will arise. A fear that once you step into this, there will be no turning back. The pull is real, extremely powerful, but the fear is just as great. There's also something else, what I call the position of synchronicity. That is, there are too many coincidences happening between you and this person. These meaningful synchronicities keep appearing, as if the universe is deliberately guiding the two of you toward one another. For example, you might run into each other in places where it seems impossible or unintentionally find yourselves in the same locations, during gatherings, shared events, or under special circumstances. I sense very clearly that there is a magnetic pull between you two, a kind of invisible force drawing you toward one another, and neither of you is consciously creating it. That is why this person truly holds the power to pull you in deeply, completely. It's incredibly easy to get swept up in their energy, and incredibly difficult to walk away. If this were a love story, it seems that the progression would not be swift. I sense that a certain amount of time will be needed. For instance, in one of the cards, there is the image of a letter, but it is carefully sealed with rope, as if it cannot be opened right away. This suggests that there are still things that cannot yet be expressed, words that cannot be said, emotions that remain restrained. Alongside this sealed letter, there are also cards symbolizing deep bonds with loved ones, friends, and family, signifying important connections and profound emotions. The story between you two is a journey of development, of growing maturity, and of gradually arriving at a place of sincerity, trust, and emotional harmony. I sense that both individuals will need time to truly understand their own feelings, and they will also need time to grasp the emotions of the other. In the beginning, neither may be fully clear about what they truly feel for the other person, or whether the other person feels the same, because everything is still so vague and undefined. Before reaching the stage of truly understanding each other heart to heart, it seems the two of you will have to overcome a number of barriers. These could be external obstacles, or they might be internal struggles, such as difficulties in communication, challenges in expressing sincere thoughts, or the fact that both individuals may be prone to misunderstanding and easily falling out of sync with each other. I sense that there are quite a few similarities between the two of you, but because they are not clearly expressed, they often lead to moments of misalignment. Things that could have been points of resonance instead become distances, simply because they are not communicated in the right way. That's why, in order to truly connect on a deep level, both of you will need time, patience, and most importantly, a willingness to understand each other, even in the smallest details. Therefore, the most important thing at this stage is not to push the relationship to immediately develop into a romantic bond or deep attachment, but rather to begin by getting to know one another, and gradually building a solid foundation of mutual understanding. It's important to start from a phase of genuine exploration, taking time to understand each other thoroughly and steadily. Even though there is a very strong emotional attraction between the two of you, I sense there will also be a kind of natural break, a mechanism that prevents both of you from rushing headlong into the connection. And that's not a bad thing. It actually shows that this relationship will need time, that it will unfold through a gradual process, and that very process itself will become the foundation for a stable, long-lasting development. It's possible that the two of you will begin simply as friends, or perhaps you'll both find yourselves asking, what is this relationship really? A quiet yet essential form of self-inquiry that will help guide the connection in a meaningful way. Here, the image of a deer also appears, a creature that represents sensitivity, purity, and a connection to the soul, accompanied by a symbol of attachment and interweaving, as if the two of you are gradually wrapping around one another, forming a deeper bond over time. This seems to suggest that both of you will grow together, evolve together. This relationship will serve as a catalyst for awakening, for unlocking the dormant potentials that lie within each person. When you meet this person, you may begin to feel an inner awakening, as if your eyes are opening to an entirely new world. Beyond that, I can sense the presence of alchemical energy, not merely as a metaphor, but as an actual capability that gets activated when two kindred souls connect. Alchemy in this context is not just symbolic, it is a spiritual ability, a mechanism for energy transformation, inherently gifted to humans as a tool to bring about a better world. It is not meant to serve the ego or personal gain, but rather to support the evolution of the soul and the greater unfolding of humanity. However, if within each person there still exist desires such as the longing to be loved, the craving for validation, or the need to have one's worth recognized by the other, then these desires could cause us to misuse the energy of alchemy. When the two of you meet, it is possible that both of you will gradually become capable of harnessing this energy, but that can only happen when each person has truly begun the inner refinement of their soul. That is why this reading reveals a journey that calls for refinement, a path of growth and deep purification. Not for the sake of becoming perfect, but to learn how to use the gifts of the universe in the right way, through unconditional love, compassion, and the stillness that arises from deep within. What matters most is that you are able to connect with your own heart, and from that sacred place, act with love and light. Of course, I believe that everyone carries within them the longing to live in such a way. No one truly wishes to use spiritual energy or inner power merely for selfish or ego-driven purposes. I completely understand that. However, it's possible that the person you are thinking of, the other person, is someone who tends to be quite outwardly focused, someone who cares a great deal about how they are perceived by others. They may be the type of person who pays close attention to the opinions of society, who worries about what others think of them. And when someone is that way, they are more likely to fall into a state where they yearn for awakening or wish to possess a certain spiritual ability, not because of a sincere inner calling or a heartfelt desire for truth, but because of the craving to be recognized, to be praised, to hear others say, "You are amazing." There is a quiet, subtle feeling, a kind of energy that leans toward the ego, that I sense in this person. It's not something inherently bad, but it's true that they are easily swayed by the need for external validation. However, through their connection with you, this person will gradually awaken. They will slowly be guided back to the true essence of love and light. I can clearly feel that you are the one who will serve as their guide. You are the one who carries the light and the subtlety needed to help them, step by step, return to their own heart, to help them learn how to love unconditionally, how to connect with the sacred energy within themselves without needing to prove anything or seek recognition from the outside world. Therefore, it is very likely that there will be a period of time during which you are asked to wait for this person's soul to mature, a phase in which you become the one who patiently stands beside them, quietly witnessing their journey of awakening. Of course, this will also be a time for your own growth, a period in which you refine yourself and deepen your own essence. But I can clearly feel that this waiting is largely for them, for the one who is still in the process of awakening, who is still learning how to shift from outward desires to inner awareness. This is a significant phase, a time in which both of you are evolving, but especially the other person, who is entering a powerful cycle of soul growth. And you are the guiding light for that journey. Only after moving through this phase can the two of you truly exchange emotions with sincerity. Only then can you open your hearts and reveal the genuine feelings within. And at that moment, when the two of you are truly connected, walking the path together, it will be the first time that you can both use the energy of alchemy to create something beneficial for the world, and also to bring into reality the longings that have lived quietly in each of your hearts. I know this may sound a bit abstract, but the longings I speak of are not desires born from the personal ego. They are the things your soul genuinely yearns to do. The things that captivate you so deeply that you lose track of time. The things you do that bring you joy, fulfillment, and the undeniable sense that you are being your true self. These are the activities that bring a feeling of elevation, not because of competition or gain, but because they resonate so purely with your essence. And when you live and work from that feeling, when your actions are guided by that resonance, it means you are living in alignment with your true gifts. And when you live in alignment with your true gifts, that alone becomes your contribution to the earth, to the universe. You don't need to do anything grand. You don't need to force yourself to contribute in a way that feels unnatural. Simply by living in harmony with what you love, you are already in service. I feel that this person, the one who is about to enter your life, already carries within them a very high spiritual energy. They have a strong spiritual foundation, a profound connection to the invisible world. However, in some way, they have been pulled off course, drawn toward the material world, into what we call the age of Earth within this three-dimensional society. That is, they are being influenced by the rules and pressures of the physical reality, work, social status, how others perceive them, responsibilities, achievements. And it's possible that you, too, are in a similar situation, at least to some extent. Perhaps both of you have, at some point, been swept up in the rhythm of material life, pulled away from the pure source energy that resides within. That's why, when the two of you meet, you will together enter a phase of transformation, a process of gradually releasing the grip of the material world and returning to the true essence of your souls. This process can take anywhere from 2 to 3 years for some, or just 3 to 4 months for others, depending on the individual and their level of readiness. If you have already met this person and the two of you are about to draw closer, then it's very likely that you've just been through, or are currently going through, that very period, approximately 2 years of challenge, transformation, and preparation. And now, after that long passage of time, the moment has finally arrived when the two of you can truly intersect, not just on a physical level, but on the level of soul, of emotion, and of shared vision for the future. This is the time when feelings can begin to take form through action, when emotions can become tangible, when love enters into reality, and inner longings gradually start to manifest. And now come the next two cards, the Whip and the Bear. Looking at the way these cards appear, I can feel something very clearly between the two of you. There still exists a strong awareness rooted in the human condition. In other words, the ego, the personal self, and the emotional layers typical of the three-dimensional world are still playing a significant role. The connection between you is not merely about liking or loving one another, not simply about affection. It is, at its core, a soul-level connection existing in a far higher dimension of consciousness. That is precisely why, if this bond continues to be dominated by elements of the material world, such as marriage, titles, possession, jealousy, power struggles, or the fear of loss, then this sacred connection can easily be pulled back into the three-dimensional realm, where everything is limited by form and definition. Because the attraction between the two of you is so intense, if awareness is not maintained, you or the other person may fall into a state of being bound by your own emotions. This can happen not only in romantic love, but even within deep friendships, it is still possible to become emotionally entangled. And so, the message from the universe is this: rise above it. This is a relationship that must rise above the layer of ordinary emotions, reaching toward a higher dimension where connection is no longer bound by form or appearance, but becomes a union of souls, a sacred companionship. The closer you draw to one another, the more deeply you feel for each other, the more easily you may find yourselves pulled back by tangible elements of this world. The more love you feel, the more you may become entangled in fear of loss, in doubt, in longing. And it is precisely these attachments that can compress the relationship, anchoring it back into the limitations of the three-dimensional space. The universe is speaking very clearly: rise above it. I believe that those who are listening to this reading, those who have walked this path alongside me, have already felt what I am trying to express, even before these words were formed. You have already recognized the layer of energy I'm attempting to convey. The person you are connecting with here may be someone from your soul group, a soul companion, someone who can be called a soulmate, and for some of you, even a twin flame. This meeting is not a coincidence. It has come to fulfill something of great significance. Both of you chose to incarnate in this lifetime, at this particular moment in time, to carry out a mission together, to accomplish something meaningful for the world. That might be a mission of rebuilding something on Earth, restructuring a nation, a community, an organization, or simply creating a village of light for awakening souls. Or it may be the journey of creating something through your individual passions, your talents, your unique gifts. Together, the two of you may do the things you love, and through those things, generate powerful transformation, inspire others, and make a lasting impact on many lives. I also sense that both of you carry within yourselves an influential energy. There is the potential for you to become individuals who hold positions of inspiration, who guide others, or simply, through the way you live, the way you love, the way you work, you and this person will help illuminate the world. That is why it is essential to draw in your allies, not just the two of you, but the gathering of other soul companions as well. I can feel that it's not only the two of you, many others are also being guided to enter the circle. This is a completely different layer of energy, a higher frequency where souls who share a common mission come together to co-create something truly meaningful. Therefore, for example, if this person, the one you care about, happens to meet someone else, someone who is also deeply magnetic and strongly attractive, You are being called not to fall into anger, jealousy, or frustration. This is not the time to be swept away by emotional reactions such as envy, irritation, or disappointment. Because it's not that you have to forgive or that you have to tolerate, but that you're being called to see things from a higher dimension where you no longer assess situations by the standards of three-dimensional emotions. Of course, if something makes you uncomfortable, you absolutely have the right to feel that way. Feeling hurt or upset is completely natural and valid. But what the universe is gently reminding you is this: don't allow yourself to remain stuck in that emotional layer. Rise to a higher perspective. Don't let those emotions pull you back into old cycles. And because both of you carry a great mission, there will be times when you must unite your strength, times when you must speak the necessary truths, when you must summon the courage to face what is real. This is not the time to torment each other, to blame one another, or to dwell on each other's faults. As long as you remain in the energy field of the mundane world, you'll be vulnerable to pain caused by very human, very ordinary behaviors and reactions. But the key is not to get trapped there. Still, it cannot be denied that you are likely to fall deeply for this person, and they, in turn, will have a powerful pull on you. The level of longing, the sense of attachment, and the emotional intensity between the two of you will be immense. That very intensity makes this relationship anything but easy. Challenges will arise, possibly from within the very emotions that burn the brightest: jealousy, the craving for union, or the fear of losing one another. These emotions, though seemingly beautiful, can become the very chains that bind you to the limitations of the third dimension. One of the final cards that appeared conveys very clearly: this love will be intense. There will come a moment when you feel, I truly want to be with this person, or I want to stay connected to them forever. And that is precisely the moment when you may find yourself at risk of being pulled back into the consciousness of the third dimension, where the mind begins to frame the relationship in terms of possession, of marriage, of attachment, of not letting go. At this level, the inner conflict begins. Much like the image of Jesus, who embodied both divine transcendence and deeply human emotions, there is always a tension between the godlike and the human, between the soul and the self. And you, too, will experience that inner struggle between your higher spiritual self and your very real, emotional human self. This conflict does not mean that you are wrong. It is, in fact, an essential part of the awakening process. To feel love, to feel pain, to feel the urge to hold on tightly to someone is completely natural. But what you are being called to do here is to observe all of it from a higher place. And when you are able to transcend the tug-of-war between love and possession, between connection and control, that is the moment you truly step into unconditional love. It is from that space that you and this person can finally fulfill what you promised each other long before arriving on this earth, to change the world together. And this is also true for Mary Magdalene, the sole companion of Jesus. Because each of us carries within both the awakened self and the human self. No matter how high our vibration becomes, no matter how elevated our perspective may be, we still live in human bodies, with emotions, with very real responses. That is why, even when you have already accessed alchemy, even when you have journeyed deeply into your awakening, there will still be moments when you waver, when you slip back into your human self, then move forward again into your soul self. This back and forth motion is entirely natural, but it can also create a sense of instability, a feeling of disorientation or fatigue. That's why the core truth is this: both souls must continually uplift one another, evolve together, rise beyond the ordinary layers to reach a more sacred level, a true soul-level harmony. And only when that happens, only when both are genuinely connected and bonded at the level of pure soul, can the mission you promised each other before arriving on this earth be fulfilled, the mission meant for this planet. So whether this is a romantic relationship or not, this person is undoubtedly a special soul companion, someone who can speak to you about things of the soul, and someone with whom you are gradually becoming ready to enter that deep connection. Even if, for now, you and this person are not yet able to share such truths with each other, the time will surely come when you can. And then, while drawing the cards, one card captured my attention with remarkable intensity: the forgiveness card. But it's not just about forgiveness in the conventional sense, it's about deep acceptance. Forgiveness here is not about forcing yourself to let go of something, it's about awareness, about truly seeing something for what it is and accepting it. For example, that's just how this person is. Simply recognizing that alone is enough. You don't need to push yourself to forgive. Forgiveness is not an action you must perform. It is the natural result that arises when you have seen the truth clearly and no longer resist it. Because in this relationship, you are likely to be touched in the deepest emotional layers within you. You will feel deeply shaken at times. There may be moments of intense anger, hurt, vulnerability. You might find yourself blaming yourself. Why can't I forgive? Or why did I react that way? And then spiral into self-criticism, telling yourself that you are not good enough, not mature enough. But what matters most is this: stop blaming yourself. Forgiveness does not mean forcing yourself to move on. It means coming to the realization that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. It means recognizing that the other person is a human being with their own limitations, and recognizing that you, too, are human with your own limitations. And just that recognition, that awareness, is enough. Because this relationship will truly test you emotionally. It will feel like your inner world is being turned upside down, confronting you with every layer of human feeling, from love to pain, from longing to letting go. But it is through all of this that you will truly grow, not by trying to be strong, but by learning how to live with your emotions without being controlled by them. You will learn how to open your heart and embrace all that is human within you as a natural and necessary part of your journey back to your true self. There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed with frustration, as if thinking, why won't they do this for me? I wish they treated me this way. Why don't they understand? I long to hear these words. Why won't they say them? Why can't they just see what I need? And you'll find yourself deeply entangled in those questions. To be honest, that feeling is entirely natural. However, if one of you has moved further along the path of awakening, if one person has taken a few steps ahead in awareness, it's understandable that the two of you may not always be in sync. You may often feel irritable, exhausted, or emotionally drained. But what's essential to remember is that the soul's maturing process of the other person is the key factor in this relationship. What I'm saying here isn't about looking down from a higher place. It's not about one being more evolved than the other, or who is further along. There is no hierarchy of enlightenment, no measuring stick of worth. Each person has their own path, their own pace, and the depth of awakening varies from soul to soul. So, what's truly needed is for you to accept that fully. Simply acknowledge, this person is currently at this point on their journey. That's it. Look back at yourself. You too were once at that stage. You too were confused, reactive, uncertain of who you were. And you grew through those experiences. Now you have the ability to look at them with the same compassion. I see it now. They're exactly where they need to be on their path. Once you recognize that, everything becomes lighter. When we love someone, we often become entangled in emotion, trapped in our own story. And when we get too deep into it, we lose sight of the larger picture. That's why stepping back, observing from a broader perspective, allows you to breathe again. It helps you see more clearly what is truly unfolding. Ask yourself, what is it that I truly wish for this person? No matter what they say or how they behave, what are they really trying to communicate? What lies beneath the words, beneath the actions? You have the ability to sense and perceive that, what has not yet been said, what is still hidden beneath the layers of emotion. Therefore, you don't need to forgive. You don't need to force yourself to be generous or noble. You don't need to push yourself to accept anything. Just simply acknowledge, this is who they are. That's all. There's no need to try to love, no need to try to be compassionate. All that's asked of you is to see the truth clearly. Not to label, not to judge right or wrong, simply to recognize that this is what is, and that it is presently unfolding as it is. Accepting everything as it is, that is the first and also the most profound step of soul maturity. Not forgiveness, not acceptance, but presence in awareness without judgment. Because everything is happening for a reason. And you only need to be the observer with an open heart. And then as you move into a higher vibration, you may begin to sense something subtle but deeply real. Just the fact that this person exists in the world is something to be grateful for. I am happy simply because they are here. A feeling of deep, quiet gratitude will arise naturally, not forced, not manufactured, just gently unfolding on its own. The card Act as if your partner is already here also appeared, and it brings with it a very important message. If you're wondering what this relationship will become, what direction it will take, you may find it difficult to see a clear answer. Because at this level, the cards are no longer simply speaking about a romantic relationship, they're pointing to a soul-level companionship, as if the two of you come from the same soul group, and the mission between you is not just about personal love, but about accomplishing something much greater, something transformative for this world. This connection is not just between two people. It is a link that will attract others, resonant souls, kindred spirits, those who share the same energy and purpose, gathering together to form a current of renewal, a movement toward healing and recreating this planet. I believe that both of you were born to help reshape the world. However, within the dimensional framework of the three-dimensional world, this relationship may not be so easily defined. Some of you may indeed move forward into a clearly structured connection, becoming lovers, marrying, building a life together. But for many others, this may not happen or may not need to happen in a fixed or traditional form. I can see that in this relationship, elements of the material world are still very present, and this may stir in both of you the desire for something more tangible, more defined, something with titles and commitments. And yet, the true essence of this connection lies beyond form. It rests in the unspoken understanding that your souls have chosen each other, not necessarily for the conventional roles you might imagine, but to walk side by side in service of a higher calling, to participate in the healing and transformation of this earth together. However, the universe is gently whispering something entirely different. Connect with each other on a level beyond all of those concepts. Go beyond the frameworks, the labels, the forms. Not boyfriend, girlfriend, not husband, wife, not anything defined by the world's vocabulary, but a kind of connection that transcends all conventional definitions, a place where two souls can simply exist and act as if they have always been one, without needing to ask, what are we? And so, when you ask, what will we become? The answer is, you are the one who defines that. The relationship will evolve into exactly what you truly desire, if that is genuinely your soul's yearning. Because the card has already spoken, act as if you and this person are already life partners. This means that if what you truly wish for is companionship, commitment, and togetherness, then that is what will manifest. But there may come a time when you realize, I no longer even need to ask that question. Because you and this person have always been part of one another, life partners at the soul level, without needing confirmation, without needing structure. In other words, the longing to become something will gradually dissolve. Because you'll come to understand that the two of you have always been no seeking, no proving necessary. And when you enter that level of awareness, you'll understand, we no longer need to become anything. Because we already are one. That is why the person you are about to enter a deep connection with is someone for whom you do not need to ask, what will we be? Because your soul already knows the answer. We have always been together. It is only now that we are remembering. Truly, this may be someone unlike anyone you've ever met before, someone who feels entirely different from every kind of person you've known. And at the same time, you will go through emotional experiences that you've never felt before. There will be days when it feels as if you're connecting with a divine level of consciousness, as though you're merging with something cosmic, something that transcends all form and title. In those moments, you may feel, I don't need a label, I don't need to name this relationship, I don't need anything concrete anymore, because between me and this person, there is already a connection that exists on a much deeper plane. And then there will be other days when you are suddenly pulled back into the earthly reality, feeling completely human, utterly ordinary, and you begin to feel irritated, agitated, weighed down by the smallest things that never used to matter. As if you're constantly shifting between the third-dimensional world and a higher-dimensional reality, between the material and the spiritual planes, and that movement leaves you feeling destabilized, off balance. This is entirely understandable because Earth itself is currently undergoing a frequency shift, and you, as a sensitive soul, are experiencing this very transition through the lens of this relationship. That's why this person may feel like a kind of vortex for you, as if they're a place where you keep getting drawn in, unable to pull away. And this doesn't just apply to romantic love, even in friendship or any other kind of connection. When you encounter this person, you will feel yourself irresistibly drawn, without knowing why. I will conclude the reading for those who chose pile 2 here. If you enjoyed this message, don't forget to click like and subscribe to support the channel. Your encouragement is a tremendous source of motivation for me to continue bringing you even more meaningful and heartfelt readings. If any part of today's message touched your heart, feel free to leave a comment, or even just a small symbol, to let me know that it truly resonated with you. I deeply value every single share and always look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you for staying with me until the end of the video. I look forward to seeing you again in the next reading. Hello to those who chose pile 3. Thank you for waiting. Now, I will begin the reading for those of you who selected pile number 3. I hope this reading brings you healing, new awareness, and moments filled with love. Now, let us explore the person with whom you are about to form a deep connection in the near future. Who are they? You can see this person as someone who shares a powerful bond of destiny with you at this point in time. And this reading is not limited to romantic love. It can also apply to meaningful relationships of all kinds between people. First, we will look into the purpose of this connection. That is, why you and this person are meeting and what role this relationship plays in your life journey. The cards drawn are the Emperor reversed, Knight of Pentacles, and 3 of Wands. In addition, I pulled 2 more cards to reflect the current situation, and they are Justice and 10 of Cups. Looking at the way these cards have appeared, the first thing I sense is this. This person is someone who will help you regain your trust and confidence in yourself. Even if deep inside you still feel you are not good enough, even if you feel you need to change or improve, this person will come into your life as someone who accepts you completely, without requiring you to change anything at all. This person will make you feel, I am enough just as I am. I don't need to try to become someone else. They help you realize that your very being, as you are right now, is already worthy. There's no need to try harder to be stronger, to be perfect, or to please others. That's why the purpose of this connection is to teach you how to love and accept yourself. Not just through reasoning or thoughts, but through real, heartfelt experience, through the presence of someone who genuinely sees you, loves you, without needing you to become a better version of yourself. This person will help you live in alignment with your true self. When you meet them, you'll gradually begin to shed the masks, the layers you once put on because you believed you had to be strong, had to be independent, had to meet some kind of standard in other people's eyes. You used to try to please everyone, used to live in the way others expected of you. But when you're with this person, you'll slowly come to understand, I don't actually need to layer myself in all that. Just being who I am is enough. That is the deeper meaning of this encounter, to guide you back to your purest essence, unmasked, unhidden, unstrained. And from that place, you can begin to live a life that is truly aligned with your soul. This person, you'll feel that they carry a very clear, gentle, and pure energy. When you're beside them, you'll naturally sense, yes, I'm enough like this. I can simply be myself. I don't need to try to become another version. This is someone who makes you feel completely accepted, not judged, not compared, not asked to change. Even when you find yourself thinking, I'm still not mature enough, or if only I could have done this or that better, this person will help you realize that all the things you once considered shortcomings are not flaws at all. They are simply natural parts of who you are. You will begin to see more clearly. Maybe you're not good at one thing, but you excel in another. Perhaps you haven't had as much life experience as others, but there are certain things that only you are able to understand in your unique way. It is through thoughts like these that you will begin to feel more grounded, more confident, and more profound in the way you perceive yourself. This person is someone who awakens the truest version of you, someone who helps you peel away the outer layers, stop performing roles, and return to your most authentic essence. That's why I feel that when you meet this person, it will feel as though you are meeting a version of yourself that you never knew existed. As though you are seeing yourself reflected in an entirely new mirror. In the imagery being described, there are 3 stages: adolescence, middle age, and youth. And this is the moment when you are in the most energized state for action. Regardless of your actual age, if your heart still longs for something, then the power within you is still waiting to be awakened. This person will act as a catalyst that inspires you to become more proactive and positive. You'll find yourself naturally inclined to take action, to connect, to open your heart, and from there, new opportunities will begin to unfold. You'll meet more people, expand your social and personal networks, and most notably, you'll start attracting situations that allow you to express your true worth. The card that appeared is from the Suit of Pentacles. This clearly indicates that you will begin to experience abundance once you meet this person. Not just in terms of finances, but also in a deeper sense of feeling, I am worthy. And when you truly recognize your own value, the universe will begin to send you things that match that vibration. Put simply, when you cherish and respect yourself, you begin to allow yourself to receive more. Finances are one of the most tangible expressions of this. When you elevate your sense of self-worth, not just through words, but through a genuine feeling rooted in your heart, prosperity will begin to flow to you effortlessly. This is a law of energetic resonance in the universe. Therefore, meeting this person will initiate an entirely new cycle of growth, beginning with healing, followed by rising self-confidence, leading to actions aligned with your true self, and ultimately, opening the door to prosperity, both emotionally and materially. Because of this, you will experience a powerful awakening of your independent side, the masculine or yang energy within you. This is the energy of being able to stand firmly on your own 2 feet, to make decisions, to take directed action without being swayed by others. In other words, you'll be encouraged to trust yourself more deeply, to dare to take bold steps, and to commit your time and energy to what you truly want to pursue. Gradually, people around you will begin to recognize and appreciate your true value. You are beginning to reshape your self-image. This is who I am, and I will live in alignment with that. You will no longer be easily swayed by external expectations or advice. On the contrary, you will begin to see with great clarity what truly belongs to you, what you genuinely desire. This marks a profound and significant transformation. This person carries an incredibly grounded energy. They are not influenced by the controlling forces of their surroundings. They don't concern themselves with how to present themselves in a way that pleases others. They don't try to impress or bend to society's expectations. They simply are calmly, clearly, unapologetically themselves. They stand firmly on their own foundation without putting on any kind of performance. I sense that when you meet this person, you too will gradually evolve into such a version of yourself, shedding layers, letting go of expectations, freeing yourself from things that do not belong to you, so that you may return to your authentic self. And precisely because you are now approaching a deep connection with this person, you yourself are also undergoing a transformation. You are slowly releasing false constructs, letting go of what no longer resonates with you, so that you may be reborn in alignment with the true essence of your soul. At this moment, what I sense in you is a surge of emotions, gratitude, contentment, and a sense of fulfillment across many areas of your life, especially in relationships or recent accomplishments. You may currently be surrounded by supportive connections, experiencing harmony, and overall, things appear to be flowing quite smoothly. And yet, at the same time, there is still a part of you being stirred by seemingly trivial matters, as if you are still paying too much attention to external thoughts and judgments. Even though things appear to be going well on the surface, within you there remain subtle tremors, small anxieties that prevent you from feeling completely at ease. Perhaps you are still affected by others' opinions, still wondering, am I doing the right thing? Will people think badly of me? Or perhaps you simply feel that you're not entirely free to express yourself as you truly are. This reveals that you are currently standing at the threshold between the old and the new, between the person you used to be and the one you are becoming. And it is precisely the encounter with that grounded, steady person that will serve as the catalyst to help you fully cross over into the light, into the space where you can live wholeheartedly as yourself, without being concerned about how you're perceived. This marks an immensely important transition, and you are very close to reaching it. At present, it seems that you are in a slightly unbalanced inner state, not because you're not trying, but because there are too many factors pulling at your thoughts and emotions. I sense that you may be suppressing your true self, hesitant to express your genuine opinions out of fear that you might disrupt the harmony, or because you feel as though you're not allowed to break the peaceful circle around you. You may think that if you speak your truth, others will be disappointed, or the relationship will change. So instead, you keep holding back, staying silent, hiding your feelings, or postponing important decisions. There is a very distinct sense that you are thinking too much about others, those you love, those who have always supported you. And because of this, you carry within you a very subtle form of pressure, the pressure of gratitude, the responsibility that comes from the expectations of loved ones, friends, colleagues, or your community. These people are not forcing anything on you. They are kind, gentle, and truly lovable. But precisely because they are so kind, you become even more afraid of disappointing them. You feel the need to repay their kindness by living the right way, by not causing trouble, by not going against what they might hope for. As a result, you often fall into the state of wanting to do something for yourself, but not daring to. Or you might have already made up your mind, but then hesitate. At times, you may feel like you're about to collapse under the weight of that invisible pressure. Even though no one is blaming you, it's you yourself who feels responsible for keeping everything in balance. And this creates an unstable emotional state within you. Outwardly, things appear calm. Everything around you seems stable, peaceful, but inside, it feels as though something is unsettled, as if something is being repressed. That's why I want to look deeper into the present moment to better understand what's truly going on within you. When I draw additional cards, a very clear image emerges. You are currently looking back on the past a great deal. Perhaps you're feeling, those were such beautiful days. If only I had been able to hold on to that. If only I had done that back then. You may be comparing your current situation to a time in your life when you felt radiant, fulfilled, and proud, and then, when you return to the present, you feel lonely, empty, or let down. It's also possible that you once achieved something significant in the past, something that truly made you shine, but now, you are using that very achievement as a standard to measure your present self. And by doing so, you feel diminished, as if you are no longer as good as you once were. This has drawn you into an emotional spiral that drifts between the past, the present, and the future. You keep floating between these three timelines, unable to fully inhabit the present moment. When you look to the past, you feel regret. When you observe the present, you sense a lack. When you think about the future, you worry about whether you will still be able to create anything meaningful. All of this creates a prolonged sense of imbalance, as if you're living in a stream without anchor, without solid ground. And for that very reason, now is the time for you to reconnect with your anchor, the present moment. The most important thing you need right now is not to push yourself to do something grand, but rather to learn how to return to this moment, this breath, this presence, this very place where your light still shines. You don't need to return to the most radiant version of your past self, because the version of you that is here now is still alive, still feeling, still moving forward. And that alone, in itself, is already precious. It seems you are currently finding it difficult to be present, to live in the here and now. You may often find yourself returning to the past with thoughts like, those were such beautiful days. Or in terms of relationships, back then, we were so happy. How did things end up like this? You may also be constantly comparing the present to some idealized version of the future, a future you long for but hasn't yet arrived. This constant comparison may not be something you intentionally want to do, yet it continues to happen like a silent current of thought running beneath everything. And those things, the past that has already gone, the future that hasn't yet arrived, are, in truth, likely to be illusions. What I sense is that you are falling into a state of being haunted by a reality that doesn't actually exist, meaning you are using images that are not real in the present and measuring your current life against them, only to end up feeling disappointed, saddened, and insecure. This is what may be causing you to want to escape from reality. Perhaps lately you felt that you no longer want to face the present, no longer want to remain in this moment, as if you want to go somewhere else, disappear for a while, or bring everything to a halt. But what's striking is this: from the outside looking in, people might believe you're living a very stable, even enviable life. Everything seems to be smooth, peaceful. And indeed, there are areas of your life that truly are stable. But deep inside, you still feel that something is missing. A quiet, unspoken void, perhaps invisible to everyone else, but one that you can feel deeply. A sense of incompleteness, as though even after achieving so much, there's still some missing piece that keeps you from being truly happy. You may not even be allowing yourself to admit this, because you think, I already have everything. I should be grateful. But your heart continues to whisper the opposite. I still feel that something's missing. If what I've shared so far doesn't resonate with you, you are absolutely free to explore the other piles. They may align better with your current energy. Now, we're moving into a very important part of the reading, the moment when you and this person will meet. I will pull cards to explore three aspects: your timing, where you currently are on your life journey, their timing, what stage they are in, and the context, location, or reason that will bring the two of you together. There's a very clear and strong sense that most of those who chose this third pile are viewing the reading through the lens of love. The dominant energy here is one of longing, a heartfelt vibration, and a deep desire to connect with someone on a truly soulful level. Therefore, the reading will continue to unfold in this direction, digging deeper into aspects related to your romantic connection. What I feel very strongly is that when you meet this person, there will be an unmistakable impact between the two of you, like a current of electricity running straight through the heart. Both of you will instantly feel, oh, this is someone special. Even if it's not immediately defined as romantic love, you will still sense that this person holds something truly unique, an energy you simply cannot overlook. And now, as I connect with your energy, a very vivid image has just come through. It's a moment when you are celebrating joyfully with others, sharing happiness together. For example, it could be a wedding, an anniversary, a community gathering, or any kind of event where people are collectively immersed in a joyful, lighthearted, emotionally uplifting atmosphere. It is a space filled with high vibrational energy where everyone is relaxed, radiant, and genuinely connected from the heart. Another powerful message also comes through. This meeting will take place at the very moment when you dare to step out of your comfort zone. It might be that you do something you've always believed you couldn't do, something you've told yourself, that's not really for me, or I don't think I'd fit in there. But this time you try. You take the leap and dive into an experience you previously avoided because it seemed too unfamiliar, too different, or too far from your usual identity. And it is precisely in that brave moment, when you step beyond your fear, that this person will appear. Like a reward. Like a puzzle piece waiting just on the other side of your personal threshold. As for your current timing, what I see is that you may not be actively seeking love right now. You're focusing on yourself, perhaps on your work, studies, self-care, or simply trying to enjoy each day as fully as possible. Love is not your top priority at this moment. You're living with a sense of ease, letting things unfold naturally, without forcing, without expectation. Or, if you are currently in a relationship, it may be that you're gradually starting to feel, perhaps it's time to move on. There is a sense of stagnation, a feeling that you've gone as far as you could in that relationship, and maybe now is the time to bring it to a close. Or perhaps you're beginning to open your heart to the idea of change. You no longer want to remain confined within the same framework. At the same time, I also sense that you are beginning to recognize things you once accepted simply because you thought you had to, things you once believed were necessary. But now, you've become clear-sighted enough to realize, I chose this because I compromised, not because it was what I truly wanted. Whether it's in your work, your living situation, or the overall direction of your life, you're beginning to feel that something deep within you is urging you to seek out something more authentic, something that resonates more closely with your true self. And this is an incredibly significant moment. Because once you begin to be honest with yourself, the universe will start to send you connections that are equally honest and aligned. And one of those connections is the person who is about to appear in your life. Therefore, even though all of this may be true, it seems they are not quite ready to take immediate action. It feels as though they are currently in a phase of turning inward, wanting to deeply explore their inner world to understand what their true feelings really are. However, with the energy of play it safe surrounding them, it suggests that for now, they don't intend to make any bold moves. They are in a state of contemplation and waiting. This is a time when they are being cautious, hesitant. It's also possible that in the past, they experienced a wound, an emotional hurt related to love or relationships, a kind of scar that resembles emotional trauma, which prevents them from approaching love with complete positivity or openness. Even if this is not directly about romantic love, there still seems to be something in their past that has weighed them down emotionally. And because of that, they're currently unable to face things directly or courageously. They are in a stage where they want to approach everything slowly, patiently, without rushing. In other words, they are choosing the safer path, the one with fewer risks. On the other hand, when it comes to the person they're destined to meet, their counterpart, that individual carries the energy of the star. And when I look at this card, the very first thing that flashes in my mind is this. They are in a phase of seeking someone who is, in a strange and beautiful way, just like them. They long to encounter someone who makes them feel, this is someone who truly resonates with me. Someone who shares the same interests, the same perspectives, even the same aesthetic preferences. Everything feels as though it reflects one another like a mirror of the soul. It feels as though two parallel worlds are finally set to intersect, and when they do, there will be a burst of emotion, a moment of realization. This is the person I've been dreaming of. The feelings will be intense, with a powerful and unmistakable resonance. They are longing for someone who, upon meeting, will evoke a certainty so clear that they can say without hesitation, "This is the one." As for you, you seem to be in a state that is not particularly excited or proactive when it comes to love or relationships in general. You might be feeling like, well, this is fine as it is, without any real desire to plunge passionately into anything. It's as though you're living in a state of quiet acceptance, perhaps compromising with reality, with the current person in your life, or with some situation. You may be doing something or staying with someone not because it deeply inspires you, but because it feels okay, not bad enough to leave. Meanwhile, the other person is deeply craving the truth. They want clarity. They want to meet someone and know without a shadow of a doubt that this is their person. They're looking for a genuine, clearly defined relationship, not something vague or halfway. I sense that this person is not interested in casual affection or finding someone just to fill a void. They truly want to date someone they feel is their destiny, or, at the very least, someone who gives them a strong sense of compatibility and connection. They're seeking that rare moment when everything aligns, energy, emotions, and soul, when something within the heart unmistakably rings out. This energy also indicates that they may currently be in a phase of radiance. They could have just achieved something significant, something that garners admiration from others, or they themselves feel their life is currently filled with light and positivity. There's a strong sense that they are carrying within them an optimistic belief in the future and in the goodness of life. And if you're watching this reading in the context of being connected to someone you believe to be a soulmate or perhaps even a twin flame, then it's also possible that the roles between the two of you have been reversed, something that often happens in deep soul connections. You should interpret the message in whatever way best fits your current situation. As for the place where the meeting happens, there's a very distinct feeling of a tropical atmosphere, as if it's a warm, sunlit location. It could be a vacation in the south, or a getaway to somewhere that feels like a resort paradise. Either you or this person may be on holiday, or perhaps attending an event in a setting that feels relaxed, bright, and rejuvenating. Above all, this meeting will carry the energy of fate, as though when the two of you see each other, there will be an immediate sense of, "This is the person I've been waiting for." Even if you're not the kind of person who actively seeks out love or feels eager to find a partner, the moment you cross paths with this individual, you'll feel something very powerful, a deep inner knowing that you're meant to be connected. In other words, this encounter will leave both of you with the feeling that you've been waiting a long time for each other. You will think, "The one I've waited for has finally arrived." And the other person will feel the same. "The one I've been longing to meet is finally here." Because of this, the two of you will feel like a perfect match, like two puzzle pieces clicking seamlessly into place, and everything will unfold quickly and naturally, as if it had all been orchestrated by destiny itself. Next, let's talk about the prominent traits of this person. One keyword that comes through very strongly is love and compassion. The two of you seem to carry an energy of profound loving presence. This is not merely romantic love, it's a love rooted in acceptance and compassion, a kind of love that is expansive, healing, and unconditional. The feeling that flows in so clearly is that this person is incredibly gentle and kind-hearted, someone who lives guided by the heart. Their energy radiates pure love. Being around them feels warm and soothing, like being wrapped in a soft light. They are the kind of person whose very presence brings calm, comfort, and quiet, emotional safety. The symbol of the dragonfly also appears. This speaks of a free-spirited soul, constantly evolving. This is someone who has gone through significant transformations in their life, and from those changes, they've learned how to live authentically. The card bearing the message "Live in Truth" confirms that this is a person who dares to live in alignment with who they really are. They are not afraid of change, not afraid to let go of what no longer fits. They choose to live with honesty and to stay connected to the truth that lives deep within their soul. And most notably, this person carries an almost otherworldly quality, not in the literal sense, but in the way their energy feels strikingly unique, unlike that of ordinary people. You may sense a cosmic connection through them, as if they are a soul from a higher plane or someone carrying a special mission. They possess a kind of spiritual alignment that makes them feel deeply attuned to the universe, a soul that radiates an elevated frequency. This person carries a strong aura of luck and divine support, as though they are being guided and protected by the universe or sacred forces. They are someone with natural good fortune, not by coincidence, but because they live in harmony with the frequency of their soul. They walk in step with their higher self, and in doing so, they draw in support from higher realms. This is truly a beautiful soul, one who carries light, purpose, and sacred energy. And when they enter your life, they will illuminate the shadowed corners within you, not through force, but through the quiet power of their gentle, yet deeply penetrating energy. I feel with great clarity that this person is being strongly supported by surrounding energies. There's a sense of invisible guidance, as if they are surrounded by light beings or spiritual protectors. And what draws my particular attention is their hands. There is something remarkable about their hands. Perhaps they are unusually beautiful, or the shape of their hands is especially captivating. Or maybe, when you hold their hands, you will feel something profound and intense, something that touches you at your core. It will be the kind of sensation that makes you want to reach out, to be near them. A deep urge to connect physically, not out of desire alone, but from a feeling of comfort and emotional resonance. It may be a shared harmony at the level of the skin. When you touch, there's a natural flow, and when you embrace, your bodies seem to align effortlessly. A kind of physical, emotional, and energetic harmony that feels strangely familiar, deeply intimate, and entirely real. This person also seems to carry a strong feminine energy. They are the kind of soul born to live and shine in the age of air, an era of spirit, intellect, love, and freedom. They have come into this world to live in alignment with the essence of love and harmony. This person has a very strong awareness of those values: love, connection, compassion. What makes them especially unique is that although they are deeply sensitive and exquisitely perceptive, they are not easily consumed by sorrow nor prone to emotional breakdowns. They appear to be someone with a grounded inner world and a resilient spirit. This is because they view life from a higher perspective, always observing from above, from the broader picture. As such, even when they are hurt or heartbroken, they recover quickly. They do not allow themselves to be submerged in grief for too long. Moreover, they seem to be someone exceptionally gifted in offering guidance. This makes me think they may work in a field related to counseling, coaching, or mentoring. It could be psychology, therapy, or any profession that helps others find direction and emotional support. This person has a remarkable ability to read emotions, understand human psychology, and soothe wounded hearts. Not only that, they also possess the capacity to see into a person's true essence, as if they have a third eye or are endowed with a certain spiritual gift. They may be deeply connected to soul-level energy. In short, this is someone who lives for love, and who lives fully with their whole heart. They are not hesitant or halfway. They dare to live boldly, to try, to speak their truth, and to take action for opportunities they believe are truly worth it. They possess a spirit of courage and wholehearted devotion. And one final thing, they are deeply blessed, someone genuinely fortunate. They are the kind of person who always seems to have the right timing, the right environment, and the right people around them, as though the universe and divine forces are constantly watching over them and supporting the path they walk. A luminous soul, full of love, light, and blessings. That said, this person is also someone who can absolutely act based on their own intuition, meaning that when something feels right in their heart, they will act on it immediately. And because their entire foundation is rooted in love, every action, every choice they make is guided by love, it makes them all the more admirable. I have to say, it almost feels like I'm praising them too much, but the truth is, this person is truly extraordinary. So exceptional, so radiant, that even I find myself running out of words to describe how remarkable they are. This person seems to be what we might call a star being, a starseed soul. They carry an exceptionally high vibrational frequency, extraordinarily high. It's possible that this soul has lived many lifetimes not on Earth, but on other planets across the universe. It feels as if they haven't had many incarnations on Earth, or perhaps they are simply not bound by the typical human paradigms. That's why their energy is so rare, so pure, almost celestial, like they don't quite belong to this world. This person is powerfully supported by divine forces, by the universe, and by spiritual beings of light. They are accompanied by strong guardian spirits or protective guides. There is a strong sense that they are constantly backed by the spiritual realm, uplifted, shielded, and watched over. And it doesn't stop there. They are also deeply loved and supported by those around them in the physical world. It is very likely that this person is admired by many, possibly even having a following, true fans, in every sense of the word, because they emit a light so warm and magnetic that others can't help but be drawn to them, to love them. What makes this person truly special is that they don't seem to care much about what others think of them. They don't live to please anyone, nor do they seek fame or external validation. Instead, they live in alignment with their heart. They choose to be honest with themselves, to listen deeply to their inner voice, and to act with love. This is someone who lives for passion, for ideals, for true values, not for anything flashy or superficial. They are a person of action and sincere emotion. A soul that radiates with love, bright, genuine, and beautifully alive. So, how will the two of you come closer to each other? Let's take a look at the next cards that have appeared. The first is the garden, a symbol of expansion, of open, welcoming space, a place where social connections are formed, where people gather and unwind. You may meet each other at a social event, or in an open, refreshing environment, like a park, an outdoor celebration, or a special occasion set in a peaceful, gentle atmosphere. The next card is the birds, representing communication, lively conversations, and exchanges full of inspiration. When the two of you meet, it's likely that there will be so much to talk about, a natural connection through words, through language, through the emotions that surface in every shared story. This is a relationship that begins through conversation. It may start from a chance exchange, but it will spark a deeply resonant connection. Next comes the key, a symbol of opening, opportunity, solutions, and also of destined confirmation. This card reveals that the relationship carries the essence of fate. When you meet this person, it will feel as though something within you is being unlocked, as if a part of your heart or a part of your journey is suddenly decoded, opened, or illuminated by their presence. It's not just a meeting, it's an awakening. And finally, we have the Tower, a symbol of stability, longevity, maturity, and protection. This is not a fleeting connection, but one that carries the potential for something enduring, something that can be built upon. This relationship is not just here to stir your heart, but to help you construct something solid, something clear, grounded, and foundational. All of these symbols together tell a story. The two of you come together through openness, heartfelt conversation, and mutual expansion. And from there, you build something lasting. This is a relationship in which you are not only loved, but truly seen, where you are understood, illuminated, and gently opened into a new chapter of yourself. A chapter made possible through love, resonance, and the light this person brings into your life. I believe that most of you watching this reading are viewing it through the lens of love. There's something more I'd like to share, but saying it now might spoil a part of what's to come, so I'll respectfully pause here. However, I can say with absolute certainty that for those of you who chose this pile, the likelihood of this connection developing into a romantic relationship is extremely high. The energy between the two of you radiates love and emotional resonance in a very clear and powerful way. And from the moment you were drawn to this reading, it already reflected that the path you are on is closely tied to a significant soul connection. Even if you are approaching this reading from the perspective of a general relationship, not necessarily romantic in nature, this person is still being described as a trustworthy companion, someone who can stand beside you for the long haul. No matter what form the relationship may take, the connection between the two of you will be deep, enduring, and meaningful over time. The cards reveal that whether as a friend, a partner, or a lover, this person is a precious soul connection, a profound and meaningful presence in your life. Cards such as the garden, the birds, and the key once again emphasize the beginning of a meaningful encounter, the closeness, and the connection that leads to fresh openings in your life. These cards represent interaction, sharing, open-heartedness, and deep mutual understanding. The meeting or reconnection between you and this person will take place in a light, natural, and emotionally rich atmosphere. However, once the two of you draw closer, or after meeting and beginning to grow more intimate, there may be a bit of chatter from those around you. Not because this is a complicated relationship or that there are real obstacles, but simply because the energy between you is so strong, so undeniable. The emotions run deep, and the connection is so naturally perfect that others may begin to take notice. This may happen within 2 to 3 weeks, or 2 to 3 months, from the time of your meeting or reconnection. Importantly, this doesn't feel like a situation involving emotional entanglements or external barriers, such as forbidden love, third-party involvement, or anything heavy. On the contrary, the energy of this pile is pure, flowing, and aligned. Yet, precisely because you two complement each other so well, because your connection radiates a sense of unity and completeness, it may cause discomfort for certain people around you. There may be individuals who were once aligned with your frequency, but once you deeply connect with this person, your vibration shifts, and in turn, those individuals may begin to feel out of sync with you. As a result, they may start to express subtle disapproval, speak critically, or observe your relationship with scrutiny. This is not necessarily born from malice or deep jealousy, but more from a quiet ache. Perhaps they too wish to experience such a beautiful bond, to be included in that kind of happiness, to be deeply loved and seen the way you are. And because they haven't yet found that for themselves, a gentle envy or inner dissatisfaction may arise. It might come through subtle comments, casual gossip, or slightly negative attitudes directed at your relationship. However, what truly matters is this: none of that noise can affect the connection between the two of you. Because the bond you share is deep enough, strong enough, and full of enough mutual understanding to transcend any external distraction. And even if those outside murmurs arise, they will only serve to highlight the beauty of this love, a love that feels as though it has already been completed long ago, merely waiting for the right moment to bloom. This is a soul reunion, an irresistible connection, where the two of you recognize each other as fragments of the same whole. That said, there is also a very clear layer of meaning here regarding communication. At the same time, the energy suggests a strong sense of collaboration, as if the two of you are working together, aligned in purpose, united in intention. This could signify that someone will enter the picture to support your connection, to help bring the two of you closer, or to guide the relationship toward its highest path. And it is exactly at this point that the key card appears, symbolizing solutions, breakthroughs, and answers. It indicates that no matter what arises, there will be a way through. Even if the two of you encounter some kind of difficulty, even if there's a wave of resistance from the surrounding environment, everything will eventually be resolved, completely and gracefully. Any problems that may emerge will not linger. Instead, they will be seen clearly, understood deeply, and lead to a new vision, a clarified plan for the future. In other words, no matter what challenges appear along the way, the two of you will overcome them. You will arrive at the place this relationship is destined to reach. And because this is someone with whom you are about to enter a phase of reconnection or deepening closeness, I have a strong sense of the following. It's possible that this person is someone you've already met before, for example, someone you encountered in a friend group, at a social gathering, or perhaps someone you once worked with or knew through professional or casual acquaintance. But at that time, there was no emotional or romantic connection between the two of you. You didn't see each other as someone with romantic potential. The relationship back then was entirely neutral, perhaps even mundane, nothing particularly memorable or intimate. However, when you meet again, when your paths cross after some time apart, something shifts. Suddenly, you begin to notice each other. There's a new awareness that arises. Emotions may begin to stir, or something awakens within that makes you wonder, could this person be my destiny? This shift in perception may come gently, naturally, yet with deep impact, like a subtle but powerful current flowing beneath the surface. Alternatively, it's also possible that you haven't met this person yet, but the moment of encounter is very near. It could be within the next week, or within the next month. This means the connection or the appearance of this person is already drawing close, almost as if they are about to step across the threshold of your life. And for those of you who have met someone within the past month, it's very likely that this person is the one being spoken of in this reading. There is also another significant time frame being highlighted, around January of this year. Since this reading is being conducted in June, if you met someone approximately 5 to 6 months ago, specifically around January, then it's possible that this person is the one being referred to here. Perhaps at the time, you didn't imagine the two of you becoming close, or you didn't see that person as someone special. But now, that connection may be beginning to shift direction, unfolding into something far deeper and more meaningful. In summary, This may be someone you've met before but never felt any particular emotional connection with, or someone you're about to meet very soon. And regardless of who they are, this person is destined to play a significant role in your life. As a companion, a soul connection, someone capable of sparking a major shift in your emotional journey. It feels as though this is the moment when the meaning of your meeting is starting to unfold. As if you are finally beginning to understand. So this was the reason we met back then. Something deeply fated is being illuminated, and this is especially true for those of you who have recently met someone or are about to meet someone very special in the near future. It feels like the thread that connects you is just now forming or is about to be activated, and now the message for you is, pay attention, because the true meaning of that encounter will gradually become clear. And I'd like to go deeper into this point, because there is a distinct energy coming through, as if something about your connection will draw attention. Perhaps the two of you appearing together will spark curiosity, or simply the act of growing closer will make others take notice. There may be whispers or rumors that begin to circulate because the bond between you is so striking, so undeniable. Additionally, there's a sense that some event may occur that places the two of you at the center of attention, not necessarily in a negative way, but in a way that draws eyes to your connection. It may create a feeling of internal chaos or confusion, a moment when you feel exposed or overwhelmed by the sudden focus. The card 5 of Pentacles also appears, traditionally associated with feelings of lack, abandonment, or disconnection. However, in this depiction, it's accompanied by the image of a church door, a place of sanctuary, suggesting that if you knock, help will be given. This carries a profound meaning. Even if something causes you to feel lost or uncertain, there is always a way out, always support available, always a key that can open a new door. And indeed, immediately after comes the image of a key, a very clear symbol that every challenge can be unlocked, every door can be opened, as long as you find the right approach at the right time. This indicates that there is no need to worry because whatever happens, you will be able to overcome it, resolve it, and move forward stronger than before. Following that is the appearance of the old companion, a symbol that something from the past is returning. This message opens up several layers of meaning, but two main possibilities are being suggested here. The first possibility is that after you meet this new person, someone from your past will unexpectedly re-enter your life. This could be an ex-partner, someone you once had feelings for, or someone with whom you shared a deep emotional bond. That person may begin to approach you again, or express a desire to reconnect or reconcile. This places you in a situation of emotional testing. You will need to clearly discern your true feelings and define what it is you genuinely want in the present moment. The second possibility is this. The person you are about to connect with, the one being described throughout this reading, may be tested by their own past. It could be that someone from their past suddenly reappears, possibly an ex-lover or someone they once had a deep connection with. This unexpected return may stir emotions they believed had already been resolved. And with that, a question will be raised. Whom will they choose? How will they move forward? The overall energy suggests that these situations are not arriving to create separation, but to help both you and this person gain greater clarity about what you truly want. Whether it's someone from the past returning or external circumstances presenting challenges, the key is this: the truth will be revealed. Everything unfolding is part of a deliberate arrangement by the universe, giving you a chance to reflect inward and see clearly the true value of the connection that is emerging. From there, you will be able to open your own door, with awareness, with clarity, and with a heart that is truly ready. And the reason why these people, memories, or unresolved situations from the past are resurfacing now is because there are still unfinished threads, things that should have been closed, healed, or released, but haven't yet been fully resolved. The message comes through strongly. That song has not yet ended. In other words, something is still lingering, incomplete, something that has yet to be understood or properly brought to a close. Therefore, these returning people or resurfacing memories are not here to bring chaos, confusion, or harm. They appear to offer you a chance to finish an old chapter, to finally bring closure to what needs to be closed, and from that place, step into the next chapter of your life with greater lightness and stability. This is part of your healing journey, part of your evolution. If you are watching this reading from the perspective of work or personal projects, the message still applies. You may find yourself being brought back to an old task, an unfinished plan, or something left undone. And now it's time to face it, to complete it, so you can move forward with peace and confidence. And if this is about love or relationships, then there may be an unexpected situation that pulls you back into an old wound, a past hurt from previous relationships, an unhealed memory, a feeling that has never been fully named. These things will resurface as you begin to come closer to this person, the one you're moving toward a deep connection with. Because the bond between you is so strong, so intimate, it triggers the pain buried deep inside, especially the wounds of your inner child, and those wounds start to emerge. You may begin to feel anxious, doubtful, or fearful that everything will repeat just like before. Will I get hurt again this time? Will this person eventually leave me like the others did? Am I truly worthy of being loved? And so on. Questions like these may arise quietly from within, revealing that there is still a part of you that longs to be loved, to be embraced, a part of your inner world still yearning for genuine healing. That is why you met this person, because the connection with them is like a powerful, unexpected collision, yet deeply sacred. As if the universe sent this person to awaken you, to help you clearly see what is still entangled within you. It is not merely an emotional explosion, a burst of resonance, a soul-level collision, but also a triggering of those hidden corners of yourself that have never been touched. And because this encounter is so intense, so destined, it will bring not only light but also shadow to the surface. Not to cause you pain, but so that you can truly face it, truly heal, and truly move into a completely new chapter, one defined by authentic inner freedom. And this is entirely a natural phenomenon because when you begin to truly touch love, its opposite, fear, will inevitably be stirred up as well. The more you feel that this person is amazing, the more deeply you are moved, the more easily all the things you've long locked away, suppressed deep within your heart, will begin to surface. That's why there may be a phase, especially within the first 2 to 3 months after meeting this person, during which you are forced to face yourself, to confront the wounds and insecurities that have long been buried. And in some cases, if you met this person quite a long time ago, perhaps 2 or 3 years back, then it's possible that all of this has been quietly unfolding over that entire period. And now is the time when you are entering the stage of resolving everything once and for all. Because it is precisely through this process of clearing the unresolved, past, present, or future, that the two of you can come into a phase of reunion, reconnection, or a deepened bond. This could be the reason why the next stage of this relationship is now being opened, as a reward for the healing journey you've been through. So, what will lead you to that resolution? Why are you now able to overcome it? The card that appears is the New World, a completely fresh beginning. Because you are stepping into a new level of your own being. You have, or are in the process of, completing lessons related to karmic cycles. And even if there are still things inside you that feel incomplete, things that seem to remain unresolved or unfinished, you no longer need to force yourself to go back and fix everything in perfect sequence. You don't have to force yourself to go back and heal everything from the root, or resolve everything perfectly as you once believed. Sometimes, simply choosing to move forward, that alone is enough. Even if you feel that you haven't completely overcome it, that you haven't finished what you started, or that you're not good enough yet, the universe has already given you permission to step into a new world. A new journey is unfolding before you, and you don't need to go back to place a flawless ending on the previous chapter. All you need is the realization, I have learned enough. And that is enough. You may still feel like something remains unresolved, but try to look at it differently. Perhaps you've already learned everything you were meant to learn from that experience. So instead of tormenting yourself over what's unfinished, move forward into a new space, a new chapter where you can live fully as your most authentic self. Because if a karmic cycle is still active, if a lesson has yet to be understood, it will return in a different form under new circumstances, but it will still be the same lesson. However, the world you live in now, the energy of Earth at this moment, has changed. Now, you have the power of choice. You no longer need to repeat suffering in order to grow. It doesn't mean living a life of ease, but rather living in alignment with your truest nature, and from that place, you no longer need to experience pain in order to evolve. You will continue to learn, to grow, to evolve, but now within freedom and lightness. Within the illumination of inner truth, no longer within the shadows of old pain. This is the great metamorphosis of your soul, from karmic cycles to liberation, from learning through suffering to learning through light. And you are worthy of this transformation. Therefore, your journey of growth and learning will still continue, but no longer at the material level or through harsh trials. Instead, it will unfold on the level of the soul. The refinement of the soul is an eternal process, but you now have full agency to choose. Will you learn through hardship or through gentleness and deep understanding? At this point, you can choose not to revisit those old circumstances that once brought you pain. Because you are standing at the threshold of a completely new phase, a new chapter in your life has officially begun. And this is crystal clear. In the year 2024 just passed, much of the old karma, the burdens you once carried, have already been released and transmuted. You no longer need to continue learning through suffering. That necessity is over. It no longer exists. And precisely at this moment of transition between the old chapter and the new one, many of you will experience a reconnection or renewed closeness with someone who shares a deep soul bond with you. Even if the two of you were once unable to connect, once out of sync, once entangled in misunderstandings or unable to develop the relationship, now everything can shift rapidly. The relationship will begin to move in a direction that aligns with the true desire in your heart. And this is not happening by chance. It is happening because you have already journeyed through everything needed to be worthy of entering this new world. At this very moment, that journey has truly begun. The new world, with its renewed energetic vibration, its fresh sense of ease, and the awakened version of you, has already started to come into motion. The beautiful truth is, you have already stepped into it. But sometimes, even when you're already living within a new chapter, remnants of the past still try to pull you back. Echoes still linger, flashbacks, doubts, swirling questions in your mind. Have I truly let go? Will it all happen again? Am I just imagining things? This is entirely natural. Even when you've shifted into a higher frequency, the mind tends to revisit old experiences, especially when something stirs your heart again, particularly in love or in intimate relationships. These are the deepest memory zones, scars etched into the heart, and they cannot be erased overnight. However, what truly matters now is this: you no longer have to go backward. You don't have to return just to prove anything. You are already living in a new reality, a new world, where you are free to be who you truly are, where learning no longer requires suffering, and love no longer demands pain to feel deserved. Everything has already begun. And all that's left for you to do is allow yourself to move forward. With confidence, with gentleness, and with the inner knowing that you are already enough. Everything beautiful that is arriving now, it comes not by accident, but because you are worthy of receiving it. Truly, at this point, it seems this has become self-evident. And so, if we were to articulate what it means to live in this new era, it would probably be this: to live from a state of divine consciousness, to live as a being who is connected to their own higher soul. In other words, you begin to view life from a broader, more expansive perspective, from the vision of the soul, from the lens of higher mind. And from that place, you no longer divide things into categories of good or bad. Everything simply becomes experience, and every experience holds value. Every experience is worthy of gratitude. There are two aspects within you that coexist. One part lives in the divine mode, awake, clear-sighted, compassionate, and the other is the human part, fully immersed in the experience of being human, raw, reactive, easily moved by the little things. That human part may be easily disturbed by a single blemish on the face, may feel anxious for not being slim enough, not beautiful enough, may be unsettled by the smallest details of daily life. It may get upset over old memories, pulled back into nostalgia, then become worried about the future, unsure whether everything will be okay. And all of that is the very essence of being human. It is the human part of you, vivid, tender, vulnerable. But what truly matters is this: you are learning to live in a state where your higher self, the divine part of you, is gently observing that human part with love, acceptance, and compassion. That means you are not trying to eliminate your humanity, but instead, you are allowing your divine self to lovingly witness, understand, and embrace the human being that is experiencing life. In the past, the divine aspect within you had been forgotten, frozen, and you were once trapped within your human self, drowned in emotion, confusion, and suffering, forgetting that you were the very one creating it all. Forgetting that you were never weak or powerless, but rather, you are a soul crafting this earthly experience. Like the one who writes the script, the director of the film, and yet you forgot, immersed yourself in the role too deeply, for too long, until you lost sight of the fact that you were only playing a part. But now you are entering a different phase, one where you begin to awaken and realize, so this film was written by me, and I'm the one projecting it. And when you live with that awareness, you will still feel the reality, you will still cry, still laugh, still be moved like any human being, but there will also be a part of you gently whispering, "It's okay. I know this is something I'm creating." You will be able to say this to yourself, tenderly, gently. And it is precisely this that gives rise to a more effortless way of living, a state where you are no longer dragged around by life, but instead, you are journeying alongside life, consciously co-creating it, without needing to control or struggle. It becomes a life of true inner freedom, where you live fully in your human emotions, yet remain uplifted by awareness from a higher plane. And that is the very way of living in this new era. The worries within you will gradually become gentler, even endearing, no longer the kind of deep turmoil that once overwhelmed you, plunging you into states of emotional collapse or intense instability. The extreme emotions, the deep inner suffering, these too will slowly dissolve. It is precisely through this shift in how you live, when you begin to dwell in gentleness, in clear awareness and inner freedom, that the other person enters your life. They arrive at the very moment you are ready to step into a new world, a world the two of you will live in together, side by side. This person, although their image may carry a masculine energy, is symbolic. They are someone with a vast heart, large enough to guide, protect, and stand by you with sincerity. They will be the one who makes you feel, as long as this person is beside me, everything will be all right. A strong yet loving heart, filled with compassion and kindness, carrying within them both great romantic love and a gentle, nurturing, almost maternal quality. Someone resilient enough to be your anchor and tender enough to embrace your soul. And it is precisely because you have such a companion that during this era of intense transformation, as the world shifts, and as you yourself undergo deep personal change, you will find it easier to navigate through. They are like a spiritual anchor, a grounding force that keeps you steady whenever life tries to sweep you away. When you are with this person, you will feel, I want to walk alongside them. I want to build something with them. And from that feeling, the connection between the two of you will deepen even more. This person embodies a distinctly feminine energy, marked by empathy, sensitivity, deep listening, and understanding. Yet at the same time, there is a perfect balance with their masculine energy, the capacity to act, to lead, to stand strong. It is a beautiful fusion of softness and strength. Truly, this is someone who possesses a rare kind of inner equilibrium. And remarkably, when they are with you, the masculine energy within them will be awakened more deeply. Perhaps in the past, if a connection between the two of you already existed, it might have remained in a suspended state, undefined, unclear, like a vague and unshaped bond. But now, after a journey of inner development, this person may be the one who takes initiative and says, let's be together officially, or I want to take this toward marriage. There is a very clear sense that it is you who has helped them come to that realization, that you are the one who makes them want to be serious, to commit for the long term. This may mark a true turning point, where they finally step out of the fog and move toward a concrete future with you. At this moment in time, it is also especially significant that those who have previously carried a dominant feminine energy, particularly men, are now beginning to develop their inner masculine energy in a much more empowered way. Everyone is in a process of recalibrating and rebalancing their entire internal energetic system, moving toward the integration of the two polarities within, the giver and the receiver, gentleness and action, empathy and leadership. And this is becoming increasingly clear. We are all striving to restructure ourselves in order to move toward wholeness and inner union at the level of the soul. Now, to close today's reading, I will draw one more message from a higher dimension as a piece of guidance, a direction meant for you in your connection with this person. Whether this is love or a meaningful human bond of any kind, what is it that you are being called to honor, to remember when you are beside this person? The card that appears is talent, gift, and the time to rise. This is a clear affirmation. The doorway to a new world is opening right before your eyes. Truly, it is. And the message is unmistakable. Do not look back anymore. What has happened in the past, whether between you and this person or with anyone else, no longer needs to be carried forward. There is no need to dwell in memories, to continue analyzing, or to be haunted by what has already passed. Because right now, you and this person are being invited by the universe to step into a new frequency, an entirely different world, one in which the two of you will live and grow together. The fact that you are meeting at this particular moment, the fact that you are reconnecting, coming closer, it is not a coincidence. This is a destined reunion, a gateway to a new chapter is opening, and you're being called to rise and walk through it, hand in hand with this person. The next message is, this love is once in a lifetime. This is the kind of love, or the kind of connection that one only encounters once in their life. A profound harmony, a resonance that cannot be replaced. There is a clear and undeniable feeling that no one else could ever align with you in this way. Whether you see this as a romantic relationship or simply a soul-to-soul bond, this person remains someone deeply special to you. This is the person who brings you peace just by being near. Someone who makes you feel at ease, who allows you to breathe, to simply be exactly as you are. No need to pretend, no need to perform, no need to prove anything. Just being together already feels complete. The alignment and balance between the two of you, the flow of giving and receiving, the harmony between reason and emotion, is what makes this connection so precious. And, because of that, do not look back anymore. Step forward. You no longer have to repeat old lessons. The new world is ready to welcome you, with a love that is true, a companion who is meant to walk beside you, and an entirely new journey that awaits ahead. You and this person, there is a sense that both of you have been through so many challenges, so many upheavals in life. Perhaps you, or they, or both, have experienced relationships that left deep emotional scars, wounds that became embedded in the heart, even turning into trauma. Perhaps you have had to carry everything alone, holding the weight of silent sorrow without knowing who to share it with, or you've carried within you a profound loneliness, as if no one in this world could ever truly understand you. That feeling, that profound loneliness, is also something the two of you can recognize in each other, empathize with, and understand without needing many words. Because the very things that once brought you pain are things this person has also walked through, or has experienced in a similar form. And because of that, you are able to see yourself in their eyes and feel, this person is like me. This person understands me. Perhaps this is someone who doesn't easily reveal their emotions, or someone who once believed they were fine even while quietly carrying unhealed wounds within. Yet, upon meeting you, they begin to learn how to face themselves. They begin to develop the capacity to accept themselves more fully. You are not only someone who brings them a sense of being loved, you are also the one who helps them forgive themselves, who allows them to embrace who they truly are. This ability to be wholly themselves, raw, unfiltered, with nothing to hide, does not come only to you when you're with them, but is also something you gift to them. The love between you is not a simple emotion, it is a profound healing. A soul's whisper. You are allowed to be exactly who you are. Between you both exists a remarkable alignment in perspective. A shared vision, a shared way of perceiving the world, a shared philosophy of life. It's as though the two of you are standing at the same vantage point, looking together toward the future. And that is why, when you are with this person, you are able to envision your life ahead with more clarity, a life lived with a full, open heart, a future that feels deeply fulfilling from the very core of your being. Here, the symbols of the coin and the heart appear, a union between material stability and emotional fulfillment. This indicates that this person not only stirs your emotions, but also provides you with a sense of safety and support. You can look toward the future and envision, I want to share my life with this person. This is someone I can truly walk alongside through the next chapters of my life. There is a clear and undeniable feeling that, finally, you've met the one you genuinely wish to be with for the long term. Someone who makes you feel no need to question whether this love will endure, because every part of you already knows the answer. And for that reason, even if few words are spoken, all the energy present here suggests one thing. This is truly love. A true love, ripe, tender, profound, arriving at the right time, with the right person. When you are with this person, you'll feel deeply inspired, as though a powerful current of creative energy is rising within you. There is a sense that you'll receive a flood of inspiration and unique ideas when you are connected to them. This is the kind of bond that energizes you, that awakens positive energy within you. Moreover, with the appearance of a card representing masculine energy, this also signals that you won't stop at merely feeling inspired. You will be able to translate that inspiration into concrete action. This is a relationship that not only touches your heart, but also fuels your momentum, empowering you to take steps forward and create real, transformative change in your life. This connection is also deeply intertwined with prosperity. It will lead you toward richer experiences, not only in material terms, but also spiritually, because when you begin to truly recognize your own worth, you naturally attract greater blessings into your life. And this person is an essential part of your journey toward elevating your sense of self-worth. There is also a particularly special dynamic between the two of you, the energy of mutual praise. Both of you have a natural inclination to uplift, encourage, and honor one another. From your very first conversations, you will sense this. The two of you exchange sincere compliments, offer genuine recognition, and make each other feel seen, appreciated, and accurately valued. This connection is warm, filled with mutual respect and admiration, and that is precisely what makes being around each other feel so easy and comforting. It must be said that those of you who chose this reading are heading toward an incredibly beautiful encounter. This is undoubtedly a meeting of profound positivity. And beyond that, the timing for reconnecting or moving closer to this person is likely to come quite soon. Some of you may take around 2 to 3 months to resolve certain personal matters, as indicated by the presence of a card relating to closure and resolution, but overall, the energy suggests that this process will move swiftly. This is the kind of connection that progresses rapidly once both individuals are ready. And the reason for this sense of urgency is clear. This person is the one you are meant to enter the new world with. The companion who will walk beside you through this profound phase of soul transformation. Therefore, there is no need to look back at the past any longer. Step forward. Step into the new chapter with them. Because this relationship is the bridge for your soul to cross into a new frequency. It is truly an extraordinary experience. So many beautiful signs are emerging. This is a beginning well worth anticipating. That brings us to the end of the reading for those of you who chose pile 3. If in today's reading, you felt even a small spark of light, or found something that soothed a question that's been weighing on your heart, then I am truly happy for that. I hope you discovered at least one piece of insight, one sign, or something that helped bring a little more ease and clarity to your mind. Thank you so much for staying with me all the way until the end of this video. Wishing you a peaceful and lucky day ahead. I look forward to seeing you again in the next readings.